Frisco Public Schools adding a couple of holidays to the academic calendar.
The school board voted this week to close schools on 2 Muslim holy days beginning in the fall of 2023. One school board member that voted no said Muslim students can take 2 days off and not be penalized, while the Jewish community says the district has not made Rosh Hashanah or Yom Kippur school holidays. An attorney is requesting that the vote be rescinded, or the school board will face a lawsuit for favoring one religious faith over another. Tasha Stevens reporting.
Citing issues that range from the ongoing southern border crisis to the botched withdrawal from Afghanistan a year ago to the problem-plagued handling of the COVID-19 pandemic, some House Republicans have introduced articles of impeachment against President Biden. Again, on Wall Street this hour, stock futures are higher. The S&P futures up 18 points. More on these stories, townhall.com.
What in the wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man on this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The demolition, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio. Yeah!
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 7 o'clock. Good morning, one and all. Welcome to Mornings with Mike Winters. I am he. That would be me, Mike Winters. Happy Wednesday. We're made it to the middle of the week.
Halfway day. Hump day.
Yeah.
I used to hate the phrase hump day. It's not a hump. It's just a day.
Yeah.
So that's why I coined halfway day.
Well, and there's two commercials in the life of me that...
And one of them's literally life.
Life is one of them.
Uh-huh.
The other is...
Geico.
The camel hump day. Yes.
Hey, Mike, guess what day it is?
Those two ads, if I never, ever see them again, I'd be all right.
I have a friend, Mama T, Teresa. She still, to this day, will every now and again on Facebook post up, "Hey, Sean," and then the camel, because she knows how much I was hating calling it hump day. And she, guess what day it is?
Yeah.
It's hump day.
Happy middle of the week day. By the way, what about all the bicameral? The two hump camels.
Huh?
They can't do the hump day because they got two humps.
At that point, it's more of a valley. Betwixt the humps.
Yeah. I guess they're not as common as the one hump camels. I don't know. You don't see the two hump ones as often.
Not nearly as often, no.
Only in cartoons.
Yeah.
Allegedly, they exist.
They're mostly, you see them in as like saddles. Like that's where the saddle sits, is like between the two humps.
Well, at least in the cartoons. I don't ever see it in real life. So,
well, hang on with Fergie. You'll see some her humps. She's got two.
That's right.
Actually, she's got three.
Lady humps.
Lady lumps, lovely lady lumps.
Yeah, is he?
Yeah, check it out.
The scientific term that she goes by.
I believe the actual scientific term is humps and a bump.
There you go.
To quote the PhD Dr. MC Hammer, in his original dissertation, "Hammer don't hurt him." Actually, no, I think "Humps and a Bump" was off his second album. That was like his like weird he was trying to go like gangster rap.
Yes,
MC Hammer.
When the hip hop mainstream was too.
For those who don't know, go back.
He didn't have no street cred with that.
MC Hammer's first album was incredibly positive. He was like, I think he was like getting his he was becoming a reverend at that point. So like that's where like Too Legit to Quit, Pray, all those songs that are like upbeat and like positive. And then like all of a sudden the record label got a hold and like, I think you need to throw this do-rag on and kind of lean into it a little bit. Drop them baggy pants off and let's lean into it a little more.
Yeah, when In Living Color made fun of him for his pants, then he was like, I have to go gangster rap now.
Yep.
Because of course the most famous MC Hammer where the video when he got the pants and he's dancing. And
wasn't it Jim Carrey they had?
Somebody, and he's like, I'm getting overtaken by my pants. And his
keep
pants
getting bigger.
fell off the stage. And I feel like it was Damon Wayans.
It was probably,
I can't remember.
It was probably Damon Wayans.
I don't remember.
I think Jim Carrey.
He did Vanilla Ice.
Vanilla Ice, yeah.
Yeah. His bits were Vanilla Ice,
Fire Marshal Bill,
which
was the best. That was the best.
Yeah, let me show you something. That was probably his most famous
of
one.
all of the characters that deserved a spin-off movie, Fire Marshal Bill deserved a spin-off movie.
Yeah. I could say that.
I just feel like there's more to work with than like MacGruber.
Yeah.
And granted, MacGruber was great. I loved that movie.
I would have laughed and enjoyed one of their other characters, Keenan Ivory Wayans' character of the head detective. If they made a movie about the head detective.
We need the head detective.
Of course, there's a whole generation. Yeah, there's a whole generation of people who have no idea what I'm talking about. But In Living the Color in the 90s, when Fox was debuting as a television network, there was a couple tentpole shows that they started off with. Married with Children was one of them.
The Tracy Ullman Show. Spun off into The Simpsons.
Begat The Simpsons. And In Living Color. And In Living Color was like a younger, hipper version of Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
And it was on primetime. It was on like Sunday nights at 8 or something. I was on East Coast then, so who knows when you all watched it, but it was like 8 o'clock on the East Coast. And we... I watched it religiously because I was right in that window of teens, 20s, and it was like right there is something for me.
I was young for In Living Color, but I'll tell you where I was right in my wheelhouse was Mad TV.
Yeah, see,
I loved Mad TV.
I watched some Mad TV.
The first 2 seasons of Mad TV they just had like an amazing cast. It was like Will Sasso was on there. Oh gosh, I could try to think of any of the names.
Artie Lang.
Artie Lang, yeah.
Artie Lang did a couple seasons.
First couple seasons. Jay Moore was on there for a minute.
Yeah.
I just can't think of any of the names.
Alex Borstein.
Alex Borstein got started there. Matter of fact, Seth MacFarlane was a writer, I think, on one of those on Mad TV.
A lot of the guys from Office Space.
And I'll tell you the reason. Yeah, exactly. The reason that Will Sasso stands out in my head so much is because I was a WCW fan. And they did this like worked shoot where like I think it was Bret Hart came on to Mad TV.
Okay.
And like got mad because of a sketch and like took a chair to Will Sasso and like it was like it was a shoot.
It was
or it was a work, but they were playing it like a shoot.
Okay.
And so like
is that our guest?
So like Will Sasso shows up at Nitro the next Monday and like calls Bret out and it was this whole thing. And so but like on the show, it was made out to be like this, everybody like stopped. And then like they showed the logo in the corner and it cut to commercial real quick. So it was like a real, like a thing. But I was a kid and I was totally still in the kayfabe of it. I was like,
by the way,
clutching, wondering what was going to happen.
This is obscure too, but a more modern Will Sasso reference is he played one of the girls' boyfriends on Mom in more recent shows. Yeah. He
that's one I never really got a chance to watch.
Yeah, when what's her name? I can't remember her name, but one of the main characters on the show Mom, one of the friends of the two, she's like she was in Joe Dirt, the girlfriend in Joe Dirt.
Jamie Presley.
Yeah, her. She's in it, but Will Sasso plays her boyfriend cop for half a season on that show.
Okay.
Yeah.
I pulled up the Mad TV cast because, I was like, Michael McDonald, Bobby Lee, Nicole Sullivan, Ari Spears, Alex Borstein, Mo Collins, Jordan Peele, Will Sasso.
Yeah.
Stephanie Weir, just a ton of Keegan-Michael Key. That's right. Key and Peele both started on Mad TV. Phil LaMarr, who is, for those who don't know, one of my favorite voice actors of all time. Artie Lang, Brian Callen. Ike Barinholtz, a lot of stand-ups actually.
Yeah.
Pat Kilbane. Yeah, it's a varied cast. But Khloe Kardashian, what?
Actually, it was a guest host.
Maybe she wasn't famous then. Simon Helberg,
the guy from Big Bang Theory.
Wolowitz. Yeah. That's so. There you go. Quite the cast. But yeah,
was he on there as a cast member?
Yeah,
I didn't know
apparently.
That. Huh.
Well, he's listed.
Well, I know
Mila Kunis, Andy Daly. Okay.
Well, he was also on a drama series that you probably know.
Simon Helberg?
Yes.
Okay.
Aaron Sorkin did, you know how he did West Wing and all that? Well, there in the early 2000s, maybe, he had a show called Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip.
Oh, yeah, with Matthew Perry.
Which was basically West Wing, but for late night comedy.
Yeah, it was like behind the scenes of SNL. Basically like 30 Rock, but without all the ha-has.
Yeah, but basically it was a West Wing show, but for late night stuff. And and Simon Helberg was one of the cast members. He was on.
Really?
He was one of the players in Studio 60 there with Matthew Perry, who was the producer, I think, of the show. But it lasted for like 2 seasons.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I liked it a little bit at first. I watched like most of the first season, and I just sort of fell off because I wasn't into dramas at that age.
Well, that's just it. It was kind of. It just didn't. It was a little weird. And if I remember right, it came out around the same time as 30 Rock, or what was that? Yeah, 30 Rock, not Third Rock from the Sun. 30 Rock. Remember 30 Rock?
Yeah,
the comedy?
They were like paralleled.
Yeah, I want to say they both came out but 30 Rock was a comedic version, whereas Studio 60 was a drama serious deal, and 30 Rock won out apparently because it went on for a few more seasons. So
60 Rock.
Before they retired it.
Simon Helberg is also responsible for one of my favorite songs from a show, a pretty obscure show on Comedy Central called The Ben Show. I know our guest is here, but I have to play this real quick.
When you're feeling so down and you think you could cry, when you're
surprised he didn't make it as a singer.
Bleak, right? There's one thing you should try. That's watching black women hugging, black women hugging, black women hugging, black women hugging.
This is Simon Helberg.
When you're feeling down and you need some loving,
Wallowitz.
just black women hugging, black women hugging.
And what show was that from?
It's from the Ben Show on Comedy Central from a few years back. But yeah, that song was like my ringtone.
I wanted to say on the Living Color, the MC Hammer, that was Tommy Davidson.
Yes, Tommy Davidson.
Lesser known.
Yeah. Well, he shows up on TV every once in a while, too. I'm trying to think of a show I just recently saw him on. No, what show was it?
He does a lot of voice work, too, though.
Yeah, but no, he showed up on like a sitcom as a... Oh, I remember. It's The Neighborhood. You ever seen the show The Neighborhood?
I've heard
with man, my brain is just not getting... Cedric the Entertainer?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was on an episode of that last season.
Okay.
I remember watching it, and I'm like, oh, dang, there's Tommy Davidson. He showed up as like a client friend of Cedric.
Davidson's agent called. He's like, look, he really needs a check. I really need a check. Can you hook us up?
And I think he does a voice for an ad I remember hearing on TV. Like, I was listening to an ad on TV, and I could swear that's Tommy Davidson talking, but I don't know if I can't guarantee that one.
I'd have to look that one up.
Yeah. It was for some drug, like one of the medicines, does something.
Lamisil or...
Yeah, something, yeah. Yeah, one of those. Let me give you the rundown for the show.
Hey, you got Crohn's disease?
Yeah, one of those. Kevin Mavers, City Development Director, is going to join us here in just a little bit, give us an update from their last development meeting and talking about things on the horizon here in Roswell. In the 8 and 9 o'clock hours, we're going to replay some interviews. In the 8 o'clock, we're going to replay our interview we had yesterday with Angela Strange from the CAPS program and Amy McVeigh-Teas with the Historical Society talking about their big living history event on September 17th. And then in the 9 o'clock hour, Sarah East, certified physician's assistant, joined us with Lovelace Regional Hospital talking about Botox and talking about the benefits for not only, of course, we talk about the skin part, but really what they do with the medical side, not only talking about headaches, but helping stroke patients with some of their muscle. When the muscles get kind of seized up, they use the Botox to release it. And same with sweating, chronic sweating. If you're dealing with sweating issues in places like your armpits and your feet and things like that, that's like, chronic, like bad, Botox can help remedy that stuff too. So we'll play that conversation about 9:15 this morning. Before we do any of that, let's take a good look at your weather, which it's sunny at the moment, but more rain's coming, don't you know?
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. We have plenty of moist air available and low pressure centered over western Texas and eastern New Mexico, and that means some showers and thunderstorms for us today. Our afternoon high about 80. Rain looks pretty likely. Scattered showers this evening, cloudy overnight and down to 65. A little bit nicer on Thursday, a mix of sun and clouds, and we'll stay comfortable on the daytime highs, mid-80s, maybe a late day shower. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 68 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 87%. Winds currently out of the north at 5 miles per hour. As Steve mentioned, we have a pretty good shot at rain today. They're saying an 80% chance of some showers and thunderstorms. They say mainly for the afternoon. Looking at north winds 5 to 10, high of 80 today. And then they're saying maybe a quarter to and a half inch of rain possible today. So good shot at rain. Tonight, we're looking at an 80% chance of showers and thunderstorms as well, with an overnight low of 65 degrees. Winds will be out of the east, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Could see another tenth to a quarter of an inch of rain tonight overnight as well. For you Thursday, our chance of rain drops down to 20%. Partly cloudy, high of 83 tomorrow, so still nice and cool, with winds out of the north 5 to 10. Probably a little more humid, but take the good, you take the bad. Take them both, and there you have facts of life. That guy's such a whiz. No, I just watch a lot of TV. Thursday night, we're looking at a 20% chance of showers, partly cloudy, with a high of overnight low of 64. Friday, not much talk of rain, just mostly sunny skies, a high of 89 with south winds 5 to 10. And then for the weekend, rain chances back in the forecast, 30% chance of rain for Saturday, mostly sunny, 90 for a high, 30% Saturday night as well. Sunday, we're looking at a 20% chance of rain, mostly sunny, and 86. Sunday night, a 20% chance of showers. And then for Labor Day on Monday, 20% chance of rain, mostly sunny, and 86 for a high. All right, it is 7:21. We're going to take a 2.5-minute commercial break, and then Kevin Maver is going to join us on the other side, and we'll talk all about what happened at the last night's city development meeting. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
Roswell Ford presents the second annual Hometown Heroes Car Show and commemoration of 9/11. Saturday, September 10th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Wool Bowl in Roswell, with lots of different categories to choose from, including classic and muscle cars, lowriders and hot rods, best paint job, and so much more. Trophies awarded to first place in each category, with a $1,000 cash prize for best overall, and lots of great prizes, including a smart TV, an LGS gift card, furniture, car washes, and more. Enjoy jolly jumps, snow cones, music, and food. Best of all, it's free to spectate and only $25 to register your vehicle, with a portion of the proceeds to benefit the Tunnels to Towers Foundation. Register and get more info at roswellford.com. Sponsored by La Salsa, Decor of Carlsbad, LGS Guns and Ammo, Chaves County Heroes, 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM, Suds Up, One Party Rentals, Piero 106.1 FM, CRM Discount Awards, National Furniture Liquidators, Keep Chaves County Beautiful, and Let's Play Entertainment. The second annual Hometown Heroes Car Show, Saturday, September 10th at the Wool Bowl in Roswell.
When you think of home health care here in Roswell, what's the first thing that pops into your head? That's right, Frontier Medical. We've been doing it better than anyone else for over 20 years. From in-home nursing to physical therapy and so much more. Doctors and hospitals from Albuquerque to Lubbock and everywhere in between have been trusting their patients to us here at Frontier Medical. So when it's time to make a choice, remember Frontier Medical. 575-627-1112. Frontier Medical.
Name to remember. Jennifer here from Trustmark Roofing, and I know you've heard me say that you can trust Trustmark, but I want you to know what that looks like in real life. A few years ago, we installed a beautiful new roof for an older woman who was recently widowed. She was an artist, and colors were really important to her. So when she said she didn't like the color of a brand new roof, we took that seriously. She had picked the color and signed off on it, but I just kept thinking, if she's going to walk into her house every day and be disappointed, then we're just going to redo it. So we did. We ripped that beautiful new roof off and replaced it with a slightly different color, and she was thrilled. Yes, it cost us quite a bit of money to make her happy, but I want you to know you can trust Trustmark to make it exactly right every time. If you have any roofing needs, call us at 575-755-ROOF or find us online at trustmarkroofpros.com.
Trustmark Roofing.
We put people first.
If you plug your nose, you can't tell the difference between an apple, potato, and an onion, unless you open your eyes. Here's Mike Winters.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, they don't look alike. Good morning. It is 7:24. And joining us in studio this morning, Roswell City Development Director Kevin Mavers back with us. Good morning.
Good morning, Mike.
How are you doing today?
I'm great. Can we go back to talking about MC Hammer?
We can.
Because there really wasn't a whole lot going on at last night's meeting. So,
well, sometimes no news is good news in the city, in any government world, to be honest here. So.
Well, I think right now these days, truly most of the news is good news. We have a couple of issues we're working through, but last night's meeting was a typical late summer back to school kind of meeting. And you can pretty much tell what time of year you're in every year when you look at the post summer lull.
Yeah.
Everybody's thinking about going back to school, or they're thinking about the last minute vacation. And we only had 2 items on the agenda last night. Both of them relatively small.
Housekeeping type stuff.
Almost housekeeping type stuff. A little bitty, actually, if you think about it, and I characterized it correctly. Yeah, they truly were housekeeping items. We had a small little parcel in downtown where we had 2 existing homes on it that were built. They wanted to subdivide that lot into 2 so they'd have 2 legal parcels.
Gotcha.
And that one, the way it was explained by the applicant, older gentleman who actually is taking care of his personal affairs, let's just say right now. And
gotcha.
One of the things, he wanting to prevent any arguments amongst the heirs, he said, you know what, then we'll go ahead and subdivide this right now.
He's nipping an argument in the bud before it can happen.
Take care of the argument. And then the second one, similar situation, though, the heirs of a house down in the south end of town, the house was actually sitting on property that was zoned commercial, but they were having trouble selling it. And the reason they were having trouble selling it was because they couldn't get a bank to loan against it because it was zoned for commercial, but it's a single-family residential home. So they wanted to go ahead and went through the zone change process, rezoned for residential, so that they could get a loan, so that they could sell the home and move on with their lives.
Okay.
So yeah, just truly 2 housekeeping items last night, and then we spent probably.
Quick question on that. The first one, when they split a parcel of land like that, that in essence, what happens afterwards is it gets 2 addresses, right?
Well, it already has 2 addresses.
Oh, it already because I was like, how does that work out, like for the numbering system and everything? Because in theory, everything's numbered. Does it now turn into a 1A, 1B scenario?
Yeah.
Or
in this particular case, around since the city does handle all the addressing and things that we have, I guess, for years and years. These 2 homes, and then they're fully complete 2 single-family homes.
Okay.
They just happen to be built on a single lot in downtown. And there was a lot of that going on. In fact, if you look at our development code, the zoning code, you'll see there's provisions for that in our R1 zone in older areas.
Gotcha. Okay.
But so it was just a matter. Truly, it was a very simple little process. They came in. They had their subdivision map already in place for the 2 lots. It's called a summary plat. Okay. That gets processed just by staff. In fact, what they had to come before the planning commission for was a variance for setbacks because they didn't quite meet the current setback requirements. It wasn't that there wasn't enough room to get around the houses or park off the street and everything else. There is. It's just the setbacks that we have in that part of town are pretty large in some cases, so it didn't quite meet it. So variance was granted for the setbacks.
Okay.
And at the end of the night, everybody was happy. And
I was just curious, since the houses were already there, they probably were getting mail and all that stuff.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I was just kind of gee whiz curious. I'm like, when they split a property, like, how do they? Because certainly they're not going to readdress everybody's house or number on that street, and like they just make it a 1A, 1B kind of thing.
There's some cities that will do that. In our particular case, our real estate division handles all the addressing, and typically addresses will be done before when somebody comes in with a new subdivision.
Gotcha.
We handle the addressing. We go ahead and decide what
the master plan or whatever.
We'll put it all together. We'll put all that addressing in. That information then all goes to the county, and I assume they continue to move it on to the post office and of course everything gets updated, including the emergency services. So if there's ever an emergency, they know where to find these houses. But it all begins with the city. So any decision to re-address would go through my office. So,
Gotcha. I figured it's your ballpark there. I was just kind of curious. I was like, how does that? I've never thought about it because I've never experienced it, but I'm sure that happens all the time.
It does. Well, it's you just mentioned something. You assumed it was somewhere in my ballpark.
Yeah.
I've actually been asked to speak to Main Street Roswell on September 9th. Not Main Street Roswell. We need to talk about Main Street Roswell, but Leadership Roswell.
Yeah.
Leadership Roswell. They'll be kicking off, I believe it's September 9th.
Yeah, they had it's an amazing class. I'm a graduate of it myself.
I'm a graduate myself.
Awesome.
They've asked me back though this year on City Day, I guess the
yeah,
first
that's
Thursday.
usually their first full session, their full day, which is usually that beginning of September time frame. And it's all city stuff usually. Yeah.
Well, they've of course I think the city has 4 people representing the city there.
Okay.
Of course, Mayor Jennings will be there.
Mm-hmm.
He'll kick it off. And then I believe Councilman Perry.
You usually have a city councilor, and then
Councilman Perry,
and some of the people that make the city go, like yourself.
Yeah, and then Joe Nebb, the city manager, and then myself. I figure they're giving each of us 20 minutes. I figure by the time the mayor and the councilman get done, Joe and I will have about 5 minutes apiece,
Right.
maybe.
That's a pretty fair assessment.
But I figure we divide it up based on that hierarchy.
Well, anytime you let the politicians go first, that's going to eat up a lot more time.
Yeah, I do have to admit, our mayor does have much better stories to tell than I do.
Well, that's part. You got to be a good talker to be a politician. If you're not going to be very far as a politician.
But yeah, I guess maybe it's an opportunity since I'm here just to remind everyone of what my office does, the Community Development Department.
Sure.
All right. We handle planning and zoning, which is why I'm at the Planning and Zoning Commission meetings all the time. So any planning and zoning issues come through our office. Any building inspection or permitting also goes through my office. Our building department is headed by a gentleman named Miller Butts. Miller is a certified building official. He's a great guy. Definitely knows his stuff when it comes to residential and commercial construction and development. But they report to me. Code enforcement. Nobody really wants to see code enforcement coming, but we have a great team. Toby Franco is my code enforcement supervisor. He does a phenomenal job, and so. When you fill out those fix-it forms that are on the website, if you're having a problem in your neighborhood, either with weeds or cars that aren't parked the way they're supposed to be parked, or anything that's non-criminal associated,
more falls into health and safety than criminal, like refrigerators sitting out on people's front yards and things like that.
Anyway, so those all come through our office, our code enforcement division, and then we have the business license division as well that reports to me, and our real estate division. So I've got 5 different divisions in my department.
Gotcha.
So
that's a lot of people that come in angry sometimes, I'm guessing, just because, where they're trying to get a permit, and sometimes those processes can take a little time if you didn't do all your paperwork right and things. And then obviously anytime code enforcement gets involved, there's somebody angry about something.
I do have to admit, yes, in a lot of cases there are people that get angry, but code enforcement doesn't just arbitrarily go out and look for things.
Sure.
There's got to be a pretty significant, pretty serious
Absolutely.
issue. I mean, we only have the whole code enforcement department is only 5 people.
And for that one person that's mad that code enforcement is calling them out on something, there's usually 7 people around them that are very happy that it's being done.
Yeah,
that's how it works.
Yeah, one of the things that we do every month is we put out a status report, kind of like the police department does. We got called out on this many calls. The number I always look at is how many were resolved. How many of those issues were resolved without having to take a step further other than just that initial contact?
Trimming weeds or clean up the pile, whatever it is.
There's a lot of people that just because, things have always been the way they've done, you start tightening down a little bit on some of the rules because somebody complains and they don't even know they're in violation.
Right. It's just how they do it, and then they realize that's not the right way to do it.
That's not the way it's supposed to be done. And that's where we're running into a few little problems here and there. And that's the downside of development, as well as when you see things start to happen and you start putting into place all of the rules that people are supposed to live by, and you get new projects coming in that are supposed to have certain setbacks and certain amount of landscaping and a certain amount of parking and all the other things, and then you look just up the street and it ain't that way. Yeah, and we have to start figuring out, okay, at what point in the process do we start moving people towards being a little more up to date with their compliance.
So sometimes you have to. Sometimes it's better to be the gradual change and kind of others that are more resistant. Then you're like, all right, then we got to be a little more hard-handed with it.
And that's where I learned that. Probably the first month I was here. That
was that lesson learned.
Sudden change is probably not a good thing at all the time. But it was our food truck folks.
Gotcha.
I had walked into a situation where we didn't have a mechanism for licensing the food trucks, for permitting the food trucks, for doing any of this. It was a very simple but incomplete process we had. And when I went back and started looking at all the things they should have been doing, of course, it involved a review by the fire department and a review by the health department and a lot of these other things before we ever were supposed to give it. What we found was, unfortunately, we had a lot of trucks out there that maybe their hood systems weren't working properly or their fire suppression systems weren't operating properly. And we had to give them some time. It was, okay, look, this needs to be done. So we sent everybody through the process. This needs to be done. This needs to be corrected. This needs to be fixed. But the larger discussion was, okay, well, by when?
Yeah, right.
By when?
Sure.
And it was, I was coming into the summer season, and we were talking about First Fridays and expanding the food trucks to being on Main Street. And it finally was decided, okay, this is only May now. Let's go ahead and you guys can we get everything in place by the weekend after Labor Day.
Gotcha.
So by the middle of
the
September.
summer to get it done, basically.
Get it done. Not only that, it's the summer's your big earning season for most food trucks.
Exactly.
And so I wanted to give everybody that opportunity.
Chance to earn the money to make the changes, repairs, additions they needed to do to get that done.
So we have another situation, and strangely enough, no, not strangely enough.
Real quick before we go on to which, by the way, this is all for the people because at the end of the day, they want to make sure that the food trucks are just like your brick and mortar restaurants and everything else. They're applying to health standards, health codes, and doing all the because they're no different than a brick and mortar restaurant except for there's tires underneath. Yeah. They're still doing the same thing. So they got to be held to the same standards.
They have to be held to the same standards. Yeah. They should be held to the same standards. The big difference these days, of course, is in the reporting of violations. Okay, everybody that's got a cell phone now believes they're a food critic.
Sure.
And
Yelp has turned everybody into...
And not just that, Facebook, Twitter, everything. Yeah. And a lot of food trucks they have their own accounts, they have their own pages. And so if somebody gets bad service, bad food, or heaven forbid, gets sick or just sees a filthy truck, the world knows about it long before the health department ever gets involved.
And bad news always spreads faster than good news.
Oh, yeah.
I'm telling you, that's just the rule of life.
I mean, we don't have a Jack in the Box restaurant here in town.
Right.
Okay, but a few years ago, they had a problem with some of their meat, and it was one of their main suppliers, like nationwide. And by the time they got that thing fixed, there was so much bad news out there, bad press. And that's
happened a couple times at Jack in the Box.
Yeah.
Over the years, I remember seeing like when I was a teenager, they had the same kind of issues.
Yeah, but it was I remember the last time it happened, they came real doggone close to just shutting down nationwide, completely going out of business. The news was so bad, and I'm not sure they've ever really recovered fully from it.
I remember back when I was like 20, and back east there was a grocery store chain called Food Lion that had and I think like. Dateline or one of those that did one of those investigative things about meats and all that and found some of the practices they were doing with older meats and things and it went national. And for a while Food Lion's back and strong on the East Coast. I think they come out Texas and all that too, but there was a while there for a couple of years where people weren't going there. They kind of like Chipotle when they had to deal with their same scenario.
I was going to bring that up.
Half dozen years ago. Yeah.
They've had 2 or 3 incidences, and what we're finding if you follow the news and you get the health department reports like I get, it's a bigger problem in organizations and companies that are organic or locally grown or any of these things that are because
where the management and the food supply is a little different from store to store.
It is slightly different from store to store, but in addition to that, because the whole idea of growing organic is to limit the amount of pesticides, limit the amount of things that go on it, you have to make sure that food is washed thoroughly, and completely, and you've got to double check it and inspect it before it's served, and occasionally things slip through. So you're going to find that that is the downside of the natural food and farm to table movement, is that the quality is going to vary from store to store and place to place.
Well, and it's kind of, you want to get in the debate of food and all that. Obviously, I think a lot of us know that our food, especially our fruits and vegetables and stuff, they've changed so much. Like if say our people from the Civil War era went to eat a tomato versus eating a tomato today, it's not the same tomato because of just science and things like that. Probably more flavorful back in the Civil War, but you probably look at it and it looks like something you don't want to touch because it's not big, fat, juicy looking like it. But that's all science that's doing that stuff. So when you go back to organic, you're almost going back to more of the methods that older generations were raising these crops and things, which put out a tastier product and a more or less
attractive.
Yeah, exactly. But it doesn't look or feel like the beautiful, juicy things that commercial companies have been sciencing up for years and years and years. So that's kind of one of those differences with organic and true organic and what you just buy at the store.
And we've seen the growth over years and years of the massive corporate farming organizations. But what's driving it is their ability to produce that photogenic type of product over and over and over again. And so they have their own varietals, they have their own types of things, and they do it very scientifically, whether you like that or not. The truth is, though, that's how we feed the world.
Yes, exactly.
That is, you cannot, I was reading an article and written by somebody that was very much on the front end of the organic health food movement. And then there was a counterpoint article by somebody in well, I guess what we'll call nowadays the traditional farming movement. And he was saying that it would take, if you really want to talk about sprawl, we would need 10 times as much farmland.
Oh yeah, to
produce the amount of food that's produced on right now in our farms that are involved in major production.
Oh yeah.
So there are upsides and there are downsides.
Absolutely. This is like when we have the FFA kids and all that, and we say things like the agricultural industry is where there's less people going into it, but their demand is getting greater and supply is not. And we're going to be in trouble if we don't figure out ways to keep doing this kind of stuff. And so the science is going to keep, who knows where it takes us in LA? Are we going to have like parking garages going 10 miles up that are farm, agricultural garages? Who knows what the future takes us, but we're going to have to figure out ways to do this stuff because to keep up with supply and demand here.
Right. That is, it's interesting you mentioned it, this concept of vertical farming, indoor grows. That is one of the benefits that the cannabis industry has provided to the traditional agriculture industry. In many parts of the United States, especially in the desert Southwest, you can't grow a consistent, high-quality cannabis product. So because of the cost involved and everything else, they went to indoor grows on a lot of these
things.
Where
they control the variables.
They control the light, they control the water, they control everything. And it just makes for a much better, much more consistent product. And once it's done indoors, now you're producing 12 months out of the year. There is no cycles like we're going through right now.
Agricultural's turning into like modern day barbecuing. And what I mean by that is, your traditional methods of barbecuing with wood and, fire direct. Yeah, it may have a better taste, but guess what? It's harder to keep the heat consistent and getting a perfect, even taste every time. But you got your electric smoker where the heat's, consistent and everything else, the variables are much more controlled, that you can get a much more exact product out of there. And they're figuring out farming's the same way. It sounds like it's like, hey, if we can control the amount of water it gets, the amount of sun it gets, the amount of nutrients it gets, we can make it grow exactly the same every time.
Every single time.
And that's what they're doing.
And that will theoretically correct a lot of the supply chain problems
Sure.
where food is concerned and everything else, because you will have this consistent product coming out 12 months out of the year.
Because we all know green chili, and you always hear like around this time, it's like, oh, the green chili crop's not going to be good this year. But it's because of those variables: too much rain, not enough rain; too much sun, not enough sun. Now, with this indoor, in theory, if you can get enough acreages of these things going, green chili season's going to be green chili season. And it's going to be the same, or whatever it needs to be.
Right.
Because now they're like, okay, we looked at the numbers from last year. We need to increase this percentage. This is how we do that. And in theory, they can mitigate food shortages and things just by getting a more exact science in how and the quantities and qualities of the food we grow.
This conversation just reminded me of something. It's not Friday, is it? It's only Wednesday. You'd have McDonald's over there.
Exactly.
You're making me hungry here. All this talk about food.
But it's something that I think we as a community and people need to understand. So when these things that way we solve problems when everyone at least is on the same page and understanding what the problem is. And I think a lot of us aren't really educated on a lot of this stuff. And so we need to be aware of it, because even if it's something we directly aren't going to deal with, your kids or kids' kids are going to have an impact on this for sure, So it's just something people should be aware of, I think,
Okay. Well, yeah, I believe so too. And it's really nice being here in Roswell now at the tail end of my career, because when I first started my career, I was in a town much like Roswell, just happened to be in California.
Gotcha.
But a lot of agriculture, a lot of FFA, 4-H, a lot of friends in that, a lot of friends doing rodeo.
Sure.
We had a wonderful main street, although it was called the Boulevard there, and that more quasi-rural suburban life went away in the 1980s. That area became essentially a suburb of Los Angeles, and it all went away. So to come back here and be able to go any direction out of town, just a few minutes, and see where at least some of our food could come from.
Absolutely.
And going to the farmer's market, and we do need to talk, if we have time, just 2 minutes on Main Street, Roswell, and some of the wonderful things that are going on there. But the farmer's market is one of those things. So being able to go to the tortilla down here and get fresh, those are the best tortillas. And I've eaten a lot of Mexican food in my life, but I love those tortillas that are coming out of
the homemade taste or whatever. But like even in the fall here, when people go out to Grace Farm for their the fall festivals and the pumpkins and all that, that's something we get to do here. That's right here in our backyard, and you can go there. I mean, most people don't go out there till there's a corn maze to walk through or something, but they literally have a garden store you can go there every week and every day and go in there and get fresh produce, or go out there and pick your own pumpkins, or whatever's in season at the moment there. It's great. And that's something that other parts of the country don't get to enjoy.
We don't. When I was going back when I was growing up, there was a farm in town, and I can't remember the name of the farm, but they had just a roadside store. It was called Ben's Corner, and it was on the corner of these two things, and it was there for years and years and years. And then one day they decided they were going to close it. Oh, but we're not going away. We're actually building a real store. So they turned it into a small grocery store and everything else. But over the years, they just could not compete against the big corporate chains. And they finally gave up. I think they still have their a small butcher shop for specialty cuts of meat. But as far as the produce itself, I know they've switched over to some organic, but it's not the same.
It's kind of a bummer
go over that roadside stand and just walk through and pick things up literally right off the vine or right off the tree.
I've experienced that kind of thing similar too. It's just roadside, like, corn, you want, upstate New York. When I go visit grandparents and things, they'd have just roadside corn here. You go get your corn, or better yet, go pick some blueberries, and they'd have a little orchard of blueberry bushes there that you can go pick blueberries or pick. It's just great.
Same thing. It's interesting when you talk to, I guess, guys our age.
Yeah.
Can I use that for? But about these similarities, and it didn't matter if you grew up in California or Arizona or New Mexico or Texas. Everybody's got the stories about the suburban or rural lifestyle. It just seemed like this phenomenon of highly urbanized cities was really pretty limited. You talk to someone from New York, and they'll talk about the big city. It's like, I never found that attractive. Really.
Yeah, it's nice to visit, but don't want to live there.
Exactly.
We do have a couple other things we want to get talking about here. Do you want to talk about City first or Main Street first?
Let's talk about Main Street real quick, because I want to update everybody. Now, this is something that's going through right now, but most people don't know that we have to renew. There's a contractual arrangement between Main Street Roswell, the organization, and the city of Roswell, our organizations. There's a third organization called New Mexico Main Street. So it's a three-party memorandum of understanding. It has to be renewed every 2 years.
So New Mexico Main Street is different than because I know Main Street, like Roswell Main Street, is part of Main Street USA or whatever it is.
Main Street USA is the parent organization in Washington, D.C.
Gotcha.
A big federal organization.
So New Mexico Main Street's separate altogether from that?
No.
Oh, it's part of that, too.
No, follow the money.
Okay. So is it like the city begats to the state begats to Main Street USA?
When the money for grants and loans and things like that, it's Main Street USA's programs and policies and things that are fed into New Mexico Main Street. And then New Mexico Main Street is the state organizing, and they're the ones that grant accreditation and other things to the local Main Street organizations.
Gotcha.
And believe it or not, not all of them are called Main Street. There's a few here in this state that are, I can't remember which ones right now, but anyway, so our organization, Main Street Roswell, is part of that overall organization leading all the way back to the federal government. Anyway, they held their own internal elections, and they've hired a new executive director.
Yes.
I believe you already.
Barbara Gomez is now.
And I know, I guess the statement I want to get out there, because I know there's been some contentiousness, I guess, between the city and Main Street.
That's something that's been going on a long time.
It has, but I'll let you know that there's a new attitude on both sides of the table right now. There's a new willingness to work together.
That's good news. Absolutely.
It is. In fact, we are Barbara Gomez and I are meeting on a regular basis, talking about all kinds of different projects. We're pulling in Mike Espiritu from the Roswell Travis County EDC as
Another
well.
Huge resource for our community.
I think what you're going to see over the next year is a much greater spirit of working together.
Good.
And you're going to start seeing and hearing about some wonderful things happening on Main Street.
I think that's something residents of this community have been wanting for quite a while now. So that's a good thing. We're very happy to hear that.
Well, it's going to be good, because what we're trying to do is figure out, okay, how do we still hold on to almost tying into the conversation we just had? How do we still hold on to that hometown feel with some of our events and other things, while at the same time doing the things that the Main Street organizations are chartered to do, which is economic development.
Right.
They're chartered with putting into place the things that will help us revitalize the downtown, that help us protect our historic district. The railroad district is also an area of concern that they're going to get involved in.
And that's that's something that really started years ago, where they want to try to revive that thing, and we're now starting to finally see the impact of that and start seeing the actual growth happen.
We're going to see it, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And we've got a major announcement. This is a bit of a teaser about a project that Main Street Roswell and the city of Roswell have been working on for the last couple of years. We've got a big announcement about that coming forward probably before the end of September.
Okay, so stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
We'll be able to talk about that one in full later on.
Good deal.
Okay.
Well, let's see if a mayor or Main Street spoils the surprise before you come on next time. So.
They're not supposed to.
Well, I know mayors and how mayors work, and I don't care who the mayor is, but when they're the mayor does what the mayor wants.
I want to remind all of our listeners, Mike said that, not me.
I don't care who the mayor is. I've talked to enough mayors to know every mayor will do what the mayor wants to do. And I think they'll all agree with me. Like, well, that's why I'm mayor, right?
There you go.
But speaking of one more thing, we do want to talk about the city. I know a lot of people have, hopefully you've been made aware, but for the last almost a month now, the water department has been kind of warning folks, telling people if you're delinquent or behind on your water bill, you need to make arrangements to start getting that back on track, either pay in full or get with them to get on a payment plan, but get in contact with the water department so that they know that you're on the same page about getting current with your water bill. They've been warning for a month now.
At least a month, yes.
Well, the warnings are about to stop and action is about to happen. So is it this week they're going to start, or is
they're actually going to start tomorrow morning?
Tomorrow morning they will start shutting off water. Yeah. So if you are one of those folks that are on that bubble there, it might behoove you to go get in touch with the water department today, and either, if you can't pay off, at least set up a payment plan. They're working with people all over the city to help get them back on track here. And so at least talk to them and let's work together to get that, because I'd hate for you to have to get your water cut off and then to unfortunately, some people don't learn the lesson until they actually turn on the spigot, nothing comes out, and then they got, I guess I ought to do something about it. Avoid that today by getting that taken care of.
Yeah, and that's we've had a steady, the good news on that is the word did get out. There's been a steady stream of people coming in, taking care of setting up payment plans. And again, this is the thing I want everybody to know and understand. If you can't pay your bill in full, because they're looking all the way back to January 1.
Okay.
So we got 8 months potentially of back. If you can't pay
it can add up pretty quick.
Okay, just work with our team over there.
Yeah.
They'll do a payment plan. And you'll be able to catch up over a period of months.
Yeah.
Okay. We don't want to, we honestly, we do not want to cut anyone off.
Sure.
But it's very expensive to not just.
It's hard for the city to afford this expense of just giving away free water.
It's
got to pay the bill.
Yeah. And I guess we should be thankful, though, that we do have the water, especially with what's going on with the Colorado River right now in some of those states.
We're very fortunate. We got it pretty good here in Southeast New Mexico and Roswell, and I think a lot of people don't realize it. Wait till you lose some of these things, and then you're going to realize how special we do have some of these things. So please don't take it for granted. But anyway, back to the billing. Please talk with them, work with them. I know things are tough. I get it. I understand. But get on the page. Let them work with you, because if you just try to hide or think this problem's going to go away, it's not. You might wake up tomorrow, as early as tomorrow, without water when you turn on your spigots or your faucets in your home here. So please get in touch with the water department today. Come down. If you can pay your bill, please get her done. So you can move on, and then that's one less thing you got to worry about. You can go on to about your day. But if you're way behind here, a little behind or a lot behind, talk to them, sit down with them, say, hey, I can afford this. Can we do this? And they'll sit down and work with you and come up with a plan that helps both the city and yourself. So, but don't wait till the water's cut off. Get it now while the ball's still in your court, because you're going to be a lot more mad, a lot more sense of urgency when you don't have the water the next day. So
you didn't need me for that segment, I'll tell you. We can go back to talking about MC Hammer again.
I just want, please, I get it. I understand that stuff, but please don't. Please just get her done. Be responsible, and you'll be very happy you did.
Right.
So,
and heaven forbid, if it does happen, do not tamper with your meter.
Yes.
That will get added to your bill as well.
Yes, and you will not be happy about that.
You will not be happy with that bill.
Is there anything we missed, or did we get it all for today?
I think that's about it for today.
Good deal. Well, of course, you guys, if you want to ever come to a planning and zoning meeting just to come and see what government's all about and how these kind of things happen, they meet, it's usually, is it the 4th or is it the last?
Oh, it's the 4th. It is typically the 4th Thursday of the month, and during some months we have some conflicts. Typically there's a conflict in November and December just because of the holidays,
right,
being the fourth week. So sometimes that'll get adjusted. Last night we had a conflict in actually just a facilities conflict from last week to this week. So they booted us down the road 1 week, but we'll be back on the regular agenda. So the fourth Tuesday of every month at the convention center, you can come on in. Even if you just want to introduce yourself and watch a meeting, be a part of it. You don't have to have anything on the agenda, or you can also tune in. The GoToMeeting link is for all of our meetings is right there, and the meetings themselves are recorded and then loaded up to the city's YouTube website, the YouTube site for review at a later date.
Awesome.
Yep.
Good deal.
Yep.
Well, thank you, sir. Appreciate the visit as always, and we'll see you next time. Okay?
All right.
All right. It is 7:59. Quick break before news. Don't go away.
Hey, New Mexico. Experiencing issues keeping your office technology up to date with these crazy supply chain issues? Well, DSI is here to help. We've diversified our products and solutions to help your business not just survive, but thrive in any situation. Have your teams collaborate and share with high-def video walls and interactive smart panels. With free unlimited support, the fear of any new technology is a thing of the past. Contact DSI today to upgrade your workspace. www.dsinm.com.
If you're missing a tooth or several teeth, a dental implant may be the ultimate solution. Implants look and feel so much like real teeth that you probably forget you have an implant. Maupin & Brown Dentistry is one of New Mexico's most experienced implant providers, with literally thousands of implant patients who are absolutely delighted with the results. Call Maupin & Brown today for an evaluation. You'll be surprised how affordable implants can be. Maupin & Brown, your choice for experienced, state-of-the-art dentistry.
Bill Cunningham is now in Roswell on 106.5 FM, KEND Roswell.
Political events, including those of family. Defense of the FBI at the same time with the midterm elections looming. He's trying to distance himself from Democrat calls for defunding the police. The irony of that is not lost on Georgia Republican Senate candidate Herschel Walker, who notes that crime is out of control.
And the reason why is because, Senator Warnock, Joe Biden, they've been soft on crime judges. When you embolden criminals to do the things they're doing, you're not holding them accountable, they're going to continue to do what they're doing, which is commit crime.
Walker, endorsed by former President Trump, speaking with the Salem Radio Network's Hugh Hewitt. Impeach President Biden? It is on the agenda for some Republicans.
A number of rank-and-file conservatives have already introduced impeachment articles in the current Congress against the president. They accuse Mr. Biden of committing, quote, high crimes in his approach to a range of issues touching on border enforcement, the coronavirus pandemic, and withdrawal of U.S. troops from Afghanistan.
Correspondent Bernie Bennett. A convoy of vehicles carrying UN nuclear inspectors is crossing Ukraine toward the Russian-held Zaporizhia power plant, raising hopes that the plant, in the middle of a war zone, can be safely secured, ending the threat of a nuclear catastrophe. On Wall Street, the Dow is down a fraction, the Nasdaq 81 points higher, and the S&P 500 index trading 9 points to the upside. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Story is called The Ugly Truth About Timeshares. If you think you've done your family a favor by buying a timeshare, well, you need my help. Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, founder and CEO of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started helping folks cancel their timeshare. And the process started what's now called the timeshare cancellation industry. Timeshare is the only thing that you can buy that you can't tell me how much it's going to cost or when it's going to end. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check to fill out any amount they want for annual maintenance and assessment fees. Sounds crazy, right? Well, the crazy thing is, this never ends. Stop the insanity today. Call my office now. I guarantee if we can't cancel your timeshare, you'll pay nothing.
Were you lied to when buying a timeshare and want out? Get the facts about timeshare cancellation. Call Wesley now for your free information kit. 800-909-4747. 800-909-4747. 800-909-4747.
Relatives of some of Mexico's more than 100,000 missing people are demanding authorities find their loved ones.
Protesters marched Tuesday in Mexico City chanting, "Where are they? Where are they?" We continually face negligence and inaction, said Miriam Jacqueline Palmeros, whose daughter Jael Montserrat Uribe disappeared 2 years ago and has never been seen since. To mark the International Day of the Victims of Enforced Disappearances, family members mounted a panorama of photos of the missing and performed prayers and songs for them. Most of the disappearances began after the start of Mexico's drug war in 2006. Keith Peters reporting.
Queen Elizabeth will remain in Scotland, where she is taking her summer break, receive Britain's outgoing Prime Minister Boris Johnson and his successor next week. That word today from Buckingham Palace. News and analysis at townhall.com. A Los Angeles attorney imprisoned in Venezuela suggested he and other detained Americans are feeling hopeless.
Abin Hernandez has been held in a Venezuelan jail for some 5 months after reportedly unknowingly crossing the border from Colombia. In a recorded statement released to the AP by his family, Hernandez says he and the some 10 other Americans feel forgotten.
All of the U.S. Americans here feel like our government has abandoned us and dismissed us, and that they don't care about us.
Hernandez and at least 3 of the others have yet to be classified as wrongfully detained, severely limiting the U.S. government's ability to push for their release. I'm Tim McGuire.
Taiwan's military has fired warning shots at drones from China flying over its outposts just off the Chinese coastline. Once again on Wall Street, the Dow is up 18 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travelation, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 8 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 2.
The Deuce.
Mornings with Mike Winters, right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Happy middle of the week.
Yep.
I won't say it.
Oh, not gonna do it.
Not gonna do it. Wouldn't be prudent.
Happy Wednesday.
Yeah, happy Wednesday, everybody.
Happy Wednesday.
And it could be.
Mm-hmm.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
They are saying we're going to get... By the way, did you ever watch Shoresy?
Still no, I still haven't watched... I watched like the first episode. I need to get back into it.
It's... I probably dig it more than you do.
Right. Because of all the hockey
Because
stuff.
of the hockey reference.
But also it's got Jared Kiso's humor in it, so I feel like it's going to hit.
It's funny.
Right.
But there's some of the hockey humor that you really don't get unless you follow hockey.
Mm-hmm.
But there's some good hockey humor there. Like the whole way they interact and stuff. That's not just Canadian. That's hockey.
Now, in fairness, one of my favorite jokes, like in the movie Basketball, one of my favorite jokes in that movie is like right at the beginning where they're breaking down the tournament structure, and they're like in the Southwest, West, South, Northern Conference finals, and then it's like at the end it was like what was the line? If no winners determined, sack races will be held on separate or opposing Saturdays until a winner can be determined. It's like, yeah, I don't get, brackets or brackets or anything like that, but I could still appreciate it, I think.
Yeah, but it's even just the mindsets and the vocabulary of hockey players and things like, and just like all of the, like those little, when they deal with the reporters and all of that, that is such inside hockey just because they all sound that way. They talk that way. They act that way.
Right.
They say the same. That's kind of the spoof. And that's part of the joke is, they just talk about the dumbest, devoid, nastiest things. And then they put a microphone on them, and it's always the same. Well, we got to keep the same company line shtick that they throw out.
Think
every
about
time.
the boys. Yeah, think about the boys in the sweaters and the boys in the boys in the back.
Yeah, it's about the logo on the front, not the name on the back, and all the same things they say.
Right. Yeah, that line from Letterkenny when they actually break it down like they were trying to train to get
good Lord willing.
Yeah, good Lord to get doggone it, now their names are out of my head.
Jonesy
the boys,
and,
Jonesy and Riley, trying to get them ready for their interview, and they were doing the prep. Actually, I think it was to get Wayne out of the room, out of the shed when he was going through his depression watching that show.
That's right,
over and over again.
I remember. Yeah, his favorite show. He watched it had a catchphrase. I can't remember it now.
Was, excuse me, seriously, please and thank you.
There it is. Thank you. That was a series.
Yep.
But but weirdly enough, those two are not in Shoresy. So
I know, which was a bummer. When at the beginning of the end of episode 1 of Shoresy, he says, "I got some ringers he was going to get." I was thinking he was going to go get Jonesy and Riley and bring them up.
Yeah, no, he went bigger. Although there is one guy from Letterkenny in the hockey series that does join Shoresy on the team.
Like a regular?
Mm-hmm. Well, a regular for a couple episodes.
Okay.
He was, if you remember when they were playing hockey, and there was a guy, a French-Canadian guy, that was kind of the adversary, the bald dude.
Vaguely. Okay, yeah. That was when they were dealing with like all the Quebecers and all that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Quebec. He's in Shoresy.
Okay.
Yeah, that guy.
Okay.
But then they bring some new guys that are equally funny and good.
Nice.
I like them. And his best buddy is kind of funny too. He's
Sanguinetti.
Yeah,
Sanguinetti.
Yeah, Sanguinetti. He cracks me up too in his own weird way. But anyway, what was I talking about where I got to Shoresy? I was talking about something completely different. It's gone.
It's gone.
I have no idea what it was.
We just alienated like 3/4 of our audience. That's all.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, it happens sometimes.
It happens. Let me give you the rundown for this hour of the show. Man, you wish you were in my head. That would be so much funnier. We're going to get you up to date with the weather here in just a few minutes. Then in just a couple, we're going to replay an interview. We had Amy McVeigh-Tejas and Angela Strange join us. Of course, Amy with the Historical Society for Southeast New Mexico. Angela with the CAPS program, Kids Arts Program, KAPS, which is actually part of the Roswell Community Little Theater. So we're going to play that conversation for you here this hour.
By the way, shout out to Landon.
Yes.
Came by yesterday. I got to give him the old tour of the radio station.
Yes.
That's the tour that I never got to do when I was a kid because I was so in love with radio when I was about his age. And yeah, he got to kind of check out my studio, check out Mike's, look at all our bric-a-brac.
Amy's grandson,
Mm-hmm.
was in, and he wanted to see a radio station, and this is the best we have. So he got to see this.
Yeah, got to see all my cool soda bottles in my office and stuff. But yeah, shout out to Landon from Gateway Christian.
There you go.
Yep.
With a Y.
With a Y, we learned.
That's right, Landon with a Y.
It's not spelled Lauren.
No,
turns out no. It's
or
Landon
Yanny.
with a Y. Yeah, or Yanny. It's Landyn. So yeah, shout out Landon.
I was watching Last Man Standing the other day, and they had the episode where everyone was arguing whether it was Laurel or Yanny or whatever it was. It was
okay.
You remember that?
Yes, but do you know the other one?
Yeah, I think so. I just don't remember off the top of my head.
Green Needle. What was the actual Brainstorm or Green Needle? It was.
I don't know this one.
Okay, so there was a game, like a board game that came out in the 90s.
Okay.
And you pushed the thing, and it said Brainstorm. But the way that it said it was like high and low frequency. So if you listen to it, I've done this before. I've listened to it back and forth like several times, and if the word on the screen says brainstorm, you will hear brainstorm. But if it says green needle, you will hear green needle. It's the weirdest thing.
Okay. It's the brain trick kind of thing.
But you will hear exactly what it says, you expect to hear.
Now, if you're not looking at it and just hear it, then it's
Then I've actually tried that too. And I've said in my head, I'm like, okay, brainstorm. Okay, green needle. So if it's almost like you have to kind of like you're going to assume
you wish
something.
it to whatever it is.
Right. You will it into existence. It's crazy.
Have you tried where you're staring at it saying brainstorm and going green needle or whatever you're supposed to say?
To see if I can get it to reverse? I haven't done that, but I bet I'm not that, cognitively deep.
For science, you should.
For the sake of science, I will.
Yes, you should. All right. It is 13 minutes after 8 o'clock. Let's get you up to date on the weather. There is rain in the weather, which is good.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. We have plenty of moist air available and low pressure centered over western Texas and eastern New Mexico, and that means some showers and thunderstorms for us today. Our afternoon high about 80. Rain looks pretty likely. Scattered showers this evening, cloudy overnight and down to 65. A little bit nicer on Thursday, a mix of sun and clouds, and we'll stay comfortable on the daytime highs, mid-80s, maybe a late day shower. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 70 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 84%. Winds currently out of the north at 7 miles per hour. We do have an 80% chance at showers and thunderstorms, mainly for this afternoon. High of 80 expected today with winds out of the north, 5 to 10 miles per hour. They're saying new rainfall amounts between a quarter and a half inch possible today. Tonight, we are also, it's down to 50% chance of showers and thunderstorms, mainly before midnight, mostly cloudy with an overnight low of 65 and east winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. New rainfall amounts for tonight, less than 1/10 of an inch expected, except for higher amounts if an actual thunderstorm rolls through the area. For your Thursday, we are looking at a 20% chance of showers and thunderstorms. Partly cloudy, looking at a high of 83 tomorrow with north winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tomorrow night, partly cloudy with an overnight low of 54. South winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. No talk of rain for Friday, just mostly sunny skies and a high of 89, and winds out of the south 5 to 10. Mostly clear Friday night with an overnight low of 65. So looks like football will be good to go for Friday as far as rain. No talk of rain, at least right now. For your Labor Day weekend, rain is back in the forecast, not quite the percentages of today, but 30% chance of showers and thunderstorms for Saturday. Otherwise, mostly sunny and the highs right around 90. Saturday night, 20% chance of showers, partly cloudy, overnight low of 64. Sunday, a 20% chance of showers, mostly sunny and 86. And then for your Labor Day, Monday, 20% chance of showers, mostly sunny, and a high of 85. All right, it is 8:16. We're going to take about a 2.5-minute commercial break. And then on the other side of the break, we're going to play our interview with Angela Strange from the Kids Arts Program and Amy McVeigh-Tejas with the Historical Society, talking about the big Living History event happening at the Historical Society on September 17th. That's up next. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
Find your path to a greater future at Eastern New Mexico University. With degrees offered both on campus and online, ENMU has the flexibility that you're looking for, and with the New Mexico Opportunity Scholarship, New Mexico residents can now start, continue, or finish their bachelor's degree tuition-free at ENMU. For more information, visit enmu.edu. Eastern New Mexico University, student success, that's what we're about.
Jennifer from Trustmark Roofing here, and I can tell you it's not always easy being a female in a male-dominated business like roofing. I remember one time I was at a meeting to bid on the roof for a local college, and it was me and 13 men. Well, I won that bid, and I'd like to win your business too. My dad was a contractor, and I've been around building and roofing my whole life. I'm licensed and bonded, and I've forgotten more about roofing than most roofers ever knew in the first place. But what really sets Trustmark apart is an obsessive attention to detail that ensures that everything goes smoothly the first time. I promise we will treat you right with respect and we will make you happy. So yeah, it might be a bit odd for a woman to own a roofing company, but give us a try. Let us give you an estimate for your roof. I think you'll be glad you called. For all your roofing needs, call us at 575-755-ROOF or find us online at TrustmarkRoofPros.com.
Trustmark Roofing, we put people first.
At Big O Tires, we know you work hard, so we're working hard to bring you the best prices at our Labor Day sale. From August 22nd through September 18th, save up to $140 with mail-in rebate when you buy 4 select in-stock sets of Michelin or BF Goodrich tires with paid installation. Or save up to $80 when you shop Uniroyal tires. Plus, we'll also give you a free conventional oil change this week only. You can always trust us to provide you with quality service and excellent prices on tires, brakes, oil changes, and more. Hurry into your local store and save up to $140 when you buy select tires from the best brands. Plus, a free oil change this week only. Big O Tires, the team you trust. Most vehicles, free conventional oil change valid through September 5th, 22. Non-transferable, non-refundable, not valid with other offers. Disposal fees extra and up to 10% shop fee based on non-discounted regular retail price. Not to exceed $35 where permitted. Void where prohibited. Retailer offer is independent from the manufacturer's offer.
You can't hunt camels in Arizona, but you can buy them. They go for about $10 a pack. Here's Mike Winters.
Clocken joining us in studio this morning. Amy McVeigh-Tejas with the Historical Society for Southeast New Mexico, and Angela Strains with the Roswell Community Little Theater's CAPS program, Kids Arts Program, KAPS. Good morning.
Good morning.
How's everybody doing today?
Good. Yeah, doing good.
Good deal. Well, now that you two are together, we know what that means.
Yep.
Time once again for another Living History event at the Historical Society. For folks that aren't familiar, actually, I'll let Angela, because people say I talk too much, so I'll just let Angela do it, because that's what she does. But explain the Kids Arts Program and give folks a little bit of background for folks that may not be familiar.
Yes, we're the youth program of the Roswell Community Little Theater, and we just seek to provide theater instruction and just experience to the kids in Roswell. So everything from stage direction to putting on a full play to puppetry and clowning and improv is our current semester.
They get to learn all aspects of theater and creative stuff, including the less glamorous side of it, the moving parts that have to happen for a production to get pulled off. They the set design, the costume design, the lights and sound, they learn all those aspects of it. And then they also learn about the community and stuff, much like with this Living History event. That's for folks, this is the CAPS program. This is probably one of the more tentpole things that people would know the CAPS program about. If you ever gone out to South Park Cemetery, usually during the summer, when the kids are off school and things like that, they'll go and they'll do these history events where they get some of the kids and they dress up as some of the more famous people that call South Park Cemetery home. And they invite people to come out, and they do, in essence, a Chautauqua. They kind of imbibe and like, for instance, her son always played J.P. White out at the cemetery. So that's like his gig now. So anytime J.P. White's needed, Josiah's there to dress up there. But them and other kids, they kind of take it. And odds are, drive around town, and if you see street names that aren't numbers or states, those are people's names, and they've had some kind of impact on our history. The Hobbses, all these names see, the Lee, these street names. They all have history here, and many of them call South Park Cemetery home. So you got to learn about some of that. Well, I don't know if people got a little tired of going out to the cemetery, because, it does have a vibe. Just saying, it's a cemetery. So if you've kind of taken the living history part and that side, and now you guys have been doing the last couple times out here at the Historical Society. Yeah, they're in the J.P. White House, and of course the archive facility next door there, and just kind of made it a whole fun weekend event or Saturday event, and we got another one coming up for folks too.
Yay! It's that time.
Yeah, and so this is really for kids of all ages. Bring the younger kids, have fun, because they'll be doing projects and little arts and crafts things, but the adults are going to probably love it just as much, because you get to kind of tour the house and because the kids will be set up in various rooms of the house, and then they all have a story to tell, a presentation to tell, and so the adults, I think, will get a kick out of that and learn a few gee whiz factoids about the place you call home. And then the kids get to, some of that hopefully rubs off on them, but then they get to do the projects and get in love with the fun and games. And hopefully some of this rubs off on the younger kids. That's kind of the whole point of the event, is just getting that chance for everyone to learn about and have some fun. And at the same time, it's supporting these kids and their hard work because I'm sure they've been practicing for a better part of a month now, just trying to get these parts down and getting everything.
Yeah, they've been working hard on their scripts.
Yeah.
And about to do the costume fittings, and they're excited. They were all at the end of the spring semester last year. They were all on board. Yes, sign me up for next year.
They had such a good time doing it last time. They said, I'm in for this next one here. Well, good news is we don't have to wait long. September 17th, we're just a couple weeks away, will be the next one. And it'll be, and that's a Saturday, September 17th from 10 a.m. to noon at the Historical Society, 200 North Lee. And you can come on out and experience exactly what we're talking about here. Come and do it. It's kind of, it's a come and go thing. But you want to allow yourself time to come and do all of the things. So if you roll in towards the latter half, you may not have enough time to do and see everything. So if you get there closer to the 10 o'clock time, that's probably but if you don't, you're busy, got sports or whatever going on, can't make it till noon, no biggie. Come on down and we'll get you, come out till 1:30 even. We'll make sure we get some arts and crafts and some stuff for you. But so let's talk a little bit about what's I don't want to spill all the magic beans here, but what's some of the things that kids are working on for this upcoming event?
Well, our main honoree is going to be Mrs. White, so J.P. White's wife.
All right.
And so
the real head of the family.
Yes.
Or actually, the term I heard, which I really like, is the male may be the head of the family, but the wife is the neck.
Yes.
And she turns the head to tell it which way to go.
That's true. It is true.
So she's the neck of the family. Okay, so that's one.
Yes, and we're going to do Robert Goddard, of course, but we're also going to include his wife. Since lesser known, nobody knows a lot about Esther, so we're going to be covering her.
Which, anybody that's been married long enough knows that without that marriage, he probably wouldn't be Robert Goddard, the rocket scientist we know him to be today, because of Esther Goddard.
Yes, she kept him organized.
Yes, that's right. And probably out of trouble from the time to two. Because I'm just imagining everybody that's into the designing rockets. I'm just saying they probably got a little bit of a dangerous side to them. You know what I mean? It's like, ooh, that looked cool. Let's make it bigger explosion next time. And then there's somebody need to say, dude, calm down on that. So it's probably Esther. But and that's what's cool part about it is you get to learn these interesting things in a fun way. It's not like you're opening up a textbook and be like, Robert Goddard was born on. It's not that. This is the celebrating of life part that the Historical Society is so much a part of.
Yes, and my son Corbin got to connect more with Robert Goddard than just, hey, that name's around town.
Gotcha.
Because as he was doing the research, he found out that he played the piano and he likes to watch birds.
So there's some common ground between the two of them.
There you go.
All right, so who knows? Maybe that's when if Corbin decides to keep going with piano and all that stuff, it'd just be like, oh, who's your inspiration? Robert Goddard. Not the answer most people would be thinking of,
That's right.
But that's cool. It's really cool. So come learn about some of the side stuff about some of these people or some of these names that you've known and heard of, and learn about the people that made them great, and learn about that. And at the same time, you're learning about local Roswell lore and culture and the lifestyle and how it is. That's because all of this is in the setting of course, honoring Mrs. White, particularly in this particular session. But you're doing it from the home which she made or created with. Not physically with the brick and mortar, but the family that came out of it. Guess who was in charge of all that? And that's the cool. So now you get to hear and learn about it, and then you're like, wow, this could have been the bedroom, or this could have been where the family called their, where they spent their evenings and things like that. And if you haven't been into the house, first shame on you, need to come see it. Make September 17th. It's a beautiful home. Turn of the century home. It's on it's a historical building, obviously. And but I think it's if you've never been in there, just come to see just from the moment you step on the big grand porch till you walk into the parlor there and you see the grand staircases and just and you look at it and you're like, man, it's because, and let's face it, this is a pretty luxurious house for that time period. This was what you call a more affluent house. Not everybody was living this way back in that when this house was, new. and so you get to kind of see that life a little bit and see what that's. So take all of that and then what the kids with the CAPS program are doing. And I feel like you got a really cool experience coming out there. You kind of get even more so. I mean, the cemetery's cool too because you really do get to walk around and see. It's like, oh, look at, and kids. If you're a kid like me, I used to go around and try to find the oldest date on the cemetery. You know what I mean? Just stuff like that. It's like, wow, this one's from 1872, or whatever it is. There's some funness that, but to me, that you almost get another level of that by doing it in the J.P. White House. You're actually talking and discussing and sharing about people that actually walked through the hallways of that home and called it home for many years. And to me, that adds a different layer of coolness to it. It's kind of like when if you ever get a chance and go to Virginia, go tour Mount Vernon. That's George Washington's home. And growing up in that area, I've got to do it a couple times. I'm kind of lucky, but every time I walk in there, I'm always like, I can imagine, because again, that's another stately, affluent plantation type place. But you go in there and things like paint on the walls, and you're like, that was very. It's in 1799 to have paint like this on the wall was like big time,
big deal.
And things like that, and things that we take as just commonplace today is, and it's no different in the J.P. White House. You're going to see some of that stuff, and you're like, wow, it's pretty simple. It's like you don't realize how ornate, like a bathroom in the house on the second floor. You know what I mean? That kind of stuff was. That's like heated flooring today for us, or something that we look at as, that's like a full hot tub, bathtub in the bathroom. Having like a second floor inside bathroom is that equivalent back then? It's kind of that same deal. So you get to learn a bunch of that kind of stuff too. And so let's talk a little bit about what's going to be going on next door in the archives facility. You guys are going to have a bunch of that's where the kids can, after you're done going through the home or before, whichever you feel like doing, and visiting there, walk right next door, across the parking lot to the archives facility, and that's where the arts and crafts and games and where most of the fun. I'd say half the fun's in the house. The other half's going to be in the archives facility there. So come on by. What's some of the projects and things you guys have planned for the 17th?
There's going to be a few arts and crafts, but we're also planning to shoot off some rockets.
Nice.
So for
in honor
Goddard.
of the whole Goddard. There's a reason why Goddard High School is called Goddard Rockets. If you're not sure yet, come on out the 17th. We'll learn you.
And I think the adults had more fun last year than the kids at times when I went through there.
We like to see things blow up. It's in our nature. So the kids will have a lot of fun, and I'm assuming they're going to do the rockets outside.
Yes.
Yeah. I know we like to have fun in the archive facility, but I'm pretty sure they're not going to let us shoot rockets off. Somebody might have a problem with that. But and if nothing else, even if maybe you don't have kids, come on out and just explore the grounds anyway. Come support the kids in their hard work. Maybe you're not going to be into making a toy rocket or nothing, but you definitely love coming and touring the house and see the property. It's a good time of year to come walk the property. The grass is real nice, and it's I'd say the second best time. Spring's probably the best time because the flowers in bloom and all that. But the fall's a pretty sweet time to walk the property and see the beautiful grounds and things, and see some of the leaves turning and all that good stuff. So, but I know we're a little bit. Give it a couple weeks on the leaf turning, but by about October timeframe, that should start happening here. But yeah, come on out. Again, the event will be happening September 17th, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Historical Society for Southeast New Mexico, 200 North Lee Street. Can't miss it. The J.P. White home is right on the corner of 2nd and Lee there, as you're West 2nd, as you're heading out. Can't miss it right there. And then right next door to the home is the parking lot you'll park in. And right next door to that is the archives facility. So you're right there. Can't miss it. If you've never been before, make this a first time for you here too. And then, like I said, bring the family, bring the kids. There's no cost or anything to this, is there?
It's a minimal cost because it supports both the Historical Society and the CAPS program.
Okay.
So the tickets are $5.
Okay, cool.
And they need to make reservations, and it's up now. They can make a reservation
Yes.
or buy.
So we will take walk-ins, but if you want to secure your tour time,
if you got a narrow window or something, you can
go on ahead of time online, and you'll have the tour time that you pick.
Okay, very good. And can you do that through the Historical Society's website or the CAPS website?
If you link on our website, it will just show information of how to link onto their website to make the reservations.
Well, is it the main community theater website, which is Roswell Theater, THEATRE.org, and you can go there and while you're there, get tickets for their upcoming plays and all that kind of stuff too. And read more about the CAPS program if you're interested. And by the way, this is another. If you've got children that you're interested in maybe partaking in the CAPS program, bring them on out the 17th, kind of see what it's all about and see the program. Of course, Angela and any of the staff there will be happy to tell you a little bit more about what they're doing when they're not out at the Historical Society doing things like this.
I just want to encourage individuals too, if they're listening and not interested for one reason or another, or can't attend the event, they can become a sponsor. There's very minimal fees involved, but we'll have some crafts and stuff. They can become a sponsor.
Okay.
And that's a great way.
To support
this.
Help cover the cost of some of the arts and crafts supplies.
And we need
things
silent auction items.
Okay.
So we're going to have a neat silent auction.
So if you'd like to donate an item or two, if you're, we have so many great supporters. I mean, the Heritage Dinner last week definitely proved that, as always.
For sure.
And we want to keep that going. And this is really, that's the fun event thing about this, because it really serves so many needs. The Historical Society and the Community Little Theater, let's face it, they both got financial needs. I know you've got a program to run. They got a roof to fix, too, over in their facility. Speaking of roofs,
we both have leaky roofs. We do have a lot more things to go. We're all concerned when the rain happens.
We're all a little drippy. But,
yeah, we're a little drippy.
But and unfortunately, we might get put to the test here over the next couple of days here. But so by coming in, and that's what I love about this event, because it supports them financially. But here's the cool part: is it gives a chance for people that may not necessarily go to the museum because to come because of you guys, and vice versa. There might be people that may not come out to a kids program, but they'll come out to see the, you know what I mean? And so I'm hoping you're going to get people that maybe came for the kids and learned a whole bunch of stuff about history, or came for the history and learned a whole bunch more about what the kids are doing and getting some kids signed up for it. Either way, but because even though, there's different missions there where you guys work with kids and, promote the arts and all that, but at the same time, it's that growth, it's that history, and let's face it, the kids in your program probably are doing much better in school and things like this because now they found their outlet, their thing that makes them, understand and learn. We, as we're getting better in science and stuff, we're learning that, kids don't learn the same way. And, maybe the way they do it in school isn't registering or isn't sinking in. And sometimes presenting it in a different way, like they do through CAPS. I mean, don't get me wrong, they're learning art and theater, but guess what? How much local history did these kids learn? And how much of that is the stuff that is like the ancillary? Oh, by the way, you just learned a whole lot about your community practicing for this little rehearsal here. You know what I mean? And so now these kids absorbed all that information that they probably, if they got regurgitated to them in a classroom, probably goes in one ear and out the other. And so now they're finding their ways to learn these things. And now hopefully they can apply that when they go in higher levels of high school and things. And when they know that they struggle learning English or math or whatever it is in that certain way, maybe we can incorporate how I do my creative side and way I embrace music. Maybe I need to learn math the way I learn music. And that's how CAPS program is wonders, I think, is they really get that there's a different way to kind of solve a problem here. And they it's that out of the box thinking that's part of that program. And I think we definitely need that for younger people,
Well, while I'm thinking about it too, if individuals make reservations for a particular time and their time slots available, we want to encourage people to come out a little early because Sean LeMay and Donna Blake Birchall will be on the museum porch.
Oh, good.
Signing books, and we'll have a book table out front. That way, it's just giving them a little time. If they come a little early, they can meet Donna Blake Birchall, John LeMay, and get autographs from their books.
Talk about their bevy of different books. So if you want to, talk ghost towns to Wicked Women to Billy the Kid to Godzilla, they got you covered.
There you go. We pretty much cover it all.
That should be John's slogan: from Billy the Kid to Godzilla. I got you covered.
There you go. Oh, that would make you. That's for sure. That's awesome.
But and of course, Angela, if people are interested, maybe they're hearing this and it's like, I'm not waiting till the 17th. I got a kid I want in CAPS right now. What's the best way to? Is it to just come to your next meeting, give you a phone call or shoot you an email?
Yeah, they can send me an email, capscommitteechair@gmail.com.
Okay.
Or they can visit the website. Right now, our current semester is just blessed. It's full completely.
Yeah,
that's a good
but
problem
they
to
can
have.
come out to the 17th to the show, and also November 11th and 12th we'll be having an improv show with the kids at the theater.
Nice. Cool.
So they'll be able to come out and see what the kids are doing, and then we'll be back in the spring with open registration.
So doing a little improv, huh?
Yes.
All right. So how are they embracing that? How do they like
so
that?
far, so good. The kids, I think, are much more comfortable with it than the adults.
Well, and that's just it. Kids are 10 times more creative than adults. That's just, I think, we're all born with that creative stuff. And then as we get older, some retain it better than others. Others, it's kind of, but when you're kids, man, the whole world's your imagination and there's no limits. And then as we get adults, we start putting limits on ourselves and our imagination gets kind of narrowed there. But when they're kids, man, it's, why do you think they think of these amazing, you see kids say the darndest today, those kind of shows that kids say the darndest things and those type of shows. And it's like, it's because they're not looking at the world through the skewed lens that you've been looking through it. They got a different perspective, and until we feed it, they're going to be awesome and creative and do their thing till we fill their head with whatever. So it does not surprise me that they get, but you got to wrangle that in, because with creativity, sometimes it gets off the rails, and you're like, all right. All right. No. We're not climbing a real mountain. Let's come back here. But I imagine they have a lot of fun with it and get to. So is it kind of like, do you do kind of very similar like whose line is it anyway? It's like, all right, here's a scenario. Go have fun with it.
So during the class, they're learning these different games and how to interact as a group and just the general shell of how these things work.
Sure.
But then when they're actually on stage, they're going to be thrown like, suddenly they're this character, or suddenly they're in this place.
Gotcha.
And that kind of thing. And so they're going to have to think on the cuff.
And how much critical thinking skills are these kids gaining by doing that kind of thing? That's the kind of stuff we talk about in our education that kids don't get enough of, is that opportunity to take, here's a set of things, what do you do with it? And how do you problem solve with it or achieve the goal that you're trying to achieve? And we want to structure everything, and I get that structure is good. There's nothing wrong with that, but there is too much structure. There is too much, you don't like you want your kid busy, but you don't want to have them regimented down. All right, it's 7:02.
Right.
Why aren't their teeth brushing? It's 7:07. Why you don't want to get that stringent with it? You just kind of want to, And so I think this allows that to allow them to think on their own and say, okay. Here's a guy, make that happen. And now they get to whatever, you're not giving them rules. The guy's got to be this, the guy's got to be that. You're not giving those rules. You're saying, this is what I want. And they get to figure out how to do that. And that's going to translate to someday when they're in the backyard and they got a shed to put together or something, they're scratching their heads like, how do we get, I've got this problem where I got water coming from here to, and now they're going to problem solve because now they're thinking, and that translates into anything else or comes to other lives. When we get to those decisions with parents and things like that, because of those skill sets that they've developed as kids, they can now translate to more important, bigger decisions. And it's hard to teach that in a classroom setting sometimes. It's just something that you learn by experience. And that's the cool part about it. So please learn more about it. Please come out and again on September 17th. Again, it'll be at the Historical Society, 200 North Lee. It'll be that Saturday, the 17th, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. would be the window. It is a come-and-go event, but you do need to get an appointment and things like that. If you do forget, no biggie. Come walk on in. We'll get you going here. But RSVP, go to Roswell Theater, theatre.org. Is it com?
Yeah. Either one will get you there.
Okay.
I found out.
Now I'm like, is it com or org? Now I start second-guessing myself. I think it's .com now or .org. Either way, you'll get there. And then you can sign up here or call. Even even if you call the Historical Society, Amy will make sure she gets you in touch with the right people. Or if you go to if you normally used to go into RoswellNMHistory.org, that one I know is org. And
That's right.
then you'll find a link to the Community Little Theater's website too there. So where you can do, and then you'll learn more about the CAPS program, KAPS Kids Arts Program, and learn more about it. And then definitely come and support them on September 17th and learn. Come see it for yourself. It's hard. I'm describing it and explaining to you, but till you see it in action, that's where it makes sense more. I think you know what I mean.
They've really selected some amazing historical figures that might surprise you. I think.
How does that?
Those hidden treasures.
Is that where you get Amy involved, or how do you narrow down? All right, these are the ones we want to do. Is it?
We make it a homeschool project.
Okay.
And then Amy and John LeMay just support us, and we go down to the archives.
So the kids kind of pick their own.
Yeah,
a little bit. I mean,
my boys do get into just sort of going through the books that John LeMay has and things in the archives, and then people just stand out to us.
Yeah.
And we'd like to get the community more involved. We're going to set up some sort of a table suggestion box type of a thing at this next event. So if people from the community know somebody from Roswell's history that's lesser known, and they have some information on that, let us know for next year.
Those hidden treasures.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Well, we got quite a history here, and there's a lot of great people, from the beginning to where we are today and in between that have made it a great thing. And
there's never going to be a dull moment. There's some very interesting characters.
Sure.
Just say with one of them, there's dynamite involved.
Nice.
Dynamite.
You know, it would be kind of fun, and this might be something we have to get Walker Aviation Museum involved in. But what if we did, dedicated one to some of the World War II military, some of the generals and some of the things because this community served a very important role during World War II and the Cold War. Pretty much, if you were a bomber on a bomber crew in World War II, odds are pretty good you spent time being trained in Roswell. And there was thousands of those crews.
There were so many, and and fun connection is a lot of pastors came out.
Yeah.
A lot of pastors came out for that too. So hey, you never know. We literally could do this event once a month.
Yeah.
And never run out of people.
And it'd be unique and everything.
We really could.
And that the whole bomber thing, what sunk home for me one time was I got a chance to go to it's the Boneyard in Arizona, Pima. You heard of the Boneyard where they store old airplanes and everything else? Well, it's there in Arizona. They got a museum and a hangar. Well, they had a whole display area for the B-17 bomber, which was one of the primary bombers used during World War II. So they had a silver one in the museum building here, and then they had a second level, but it was all photographs, and it was nothing but photographs of B-17 bomb crews from World War II. And this room was probably the size of, say, the Coyote Gym or something like that, compared to that size. And that wall was covered from floor to ceiling with just, I don't even think they're 8x10. They're like 5x7 photos of bomb crews. And it just put it all in perspective because I'm looking at this sea of crews and I'm like, and most of them went through Roswell. There was to see thousands of pictures of thousands of bomb crews kind of put it in perspective for me. And so that's why I'm like, Roswell played a major role in that, and that would be cool for more people to learn about that part of it. And the Cold War too afterwards with the missiles and all that stuff. We stored quite a few of those big bad ballistic missiles in this area too during that time. But definitely pretty cool. So again, this is why Historical Society and things like this are in the CAPS program. You get to learn about this kind of stuff. But I think maybe we get Walker Aviation to partner in there and do something.
Be a lot of fun.
We found out that the glider training was done here too because when Corbin did J. Kenneth Smith last year, he learned that's why they came here. As they were doing.
I feel so bad for those guys that drew the short straw to have to be glider pilots. Oh man. their success rate was not good during World War II. It just wasn't. But yeah, they were training out here too. So, but bringing it back here, mark this historic date on your calendar, September
right around the corner.
17th, just about 2.5 weeks away, basically. Not about 3 Saturdays from now, something like that. Yeah. Jeez, it's coming up quick.
It is.
Seems like we were talking about this like a year ago.
I know.
That was just
well,
like a month ago.
Yeah.
Time's been just crazy. So September 17th, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Historical Society for Southeast New Mexico, 200 North Lee. It's a Saturday. RSVP by logging on to roswelltheater.org or com, THEATRE, or you can go to roswellnmhistory.org as well and find a link there. It's only $5 as a donation. However, if you'd like to donate more money, the money's being used by both the Historical Society and the Kids Arts Program, CAPS program. And so by donating $20 or $15 or $6 or whatever it is, it's going to help both two good organizations here that really believe in keeping everything in our community preserved, strong, and going for the next generations to enjoy. So, yeah, it's a good thing. And of course, if you want to learn more about any of the things the Historical Society does or the Kids Arts Program, please come out to the event and learn more about that. By the way, if you've got, say you're planning maybe you got a little small wedding or quinceañera or something, use this opportunity to scope out the archive facility while you're there, participate in the activities and stuff. Yeah, I could pull off a small wedding reception. And you'll see the facility with the kitchen, and it's about 75 is what it's.
Yep.
It's
50
I think,
to 75
50,
people.
Yeah, I think 75 is like the max, but yeah, so use that as an opportunity. Becoming a member of the Historical Society, or you yourself you come as a couple or a sponsorship as a business or organization. That's possible.
Bring your loose change to this event or anytime.
Yeah, we'll have our Coke bottles, collecting bottles of where you can drop off your loose change. So after you paid your $5 and you got a couple dollars in pennies laying around or something, bring it on by.
We collected over $150 at our Heritage Dinner.
Wow.
That's
that
great.
is just a reminder that every penny counts, whether you can't be involved with this event or whatever.
It's a good workout, by the way, too. Collect your change and then move it around various things. That'll get you a good workout, too. But yeah, come out and support. And then, like you said, log on to the Kids Arts Program through the Roswell Community Little Theater website, Roswell, and that way you can learn more about all the CAP stuff. If you're thinking, man, I want to sign my children up for the next semester here, and then certainly come out 17th, and then when's the event in November again?
The 11th and 12th. 11th
and 12th. So right a couple weeks before the Thanksgiving holiday, come out to the Community Little Theater, support them, see their performance and show, and then and while you're at that website, definitely check out the Community Little Theater. They're always looking for new folks to come and be a part, whether you want to be on stage, doing your Shakespeare, or behind the scenes, making sure all of that happens. They're always looking for volunteers and people to be a part of that, and even serve on their board and serve in various other less spotlight capacities out there too. So, and they, like I said, they're in the same boat the Historical Society is. They got a beautiful facility out there that they've called home for about 8-10 years now, I'm thinking.
That sounds right. I'm not sure.
Yeah, give or take. Well, guess what? The roof is now kaput. It was an old movie theater that's been around for many moons, and they've got a roof that needs to be replaced. So they've been raising money, and unfortunately, there's no hail damage for insurance to make claims or any of that kind of stuff. So it's all out of pocket on the community theater. So come bid generously. So if you can come out on the 17th and you can give us 10 instead of 5, it'd be amazing. You don't have to. Don't feel obligated. But if you can, we'd appreciate it. So.
That's right.
Good deal. Is there anything we missed?
The return of the mystery safety deposit box raffle.
Yes.
So you can purchase the
It's
tickets
back at this
online
event?
or
Okay.
in person. And
It's a pretty cool event. You guys started this the last time there.
Yes.
And there's a safety deposit box there, and you get to purchase a unit, I guess you could say. And it's kind of like the the Storage Wars show on TV. If you ever watch that, you open it up. And
That's right.
Now you're guaranteed to win a prize. They're not going to be like Storage Wars.
No,
and be like,
no.
wah,
We've had
wah.
fun curating them.
bunch
It's not the original boxes that were confiscated. We couldn't get a hold of those. That would have been really cool.
That would have been
So
cool.
we're just
Really
playing
cool.
off the idea, and there'll be historical and fun treasures inside.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, so if you always want to do Storage Wars in a safe way and support the CAPS program is a great way to do that too. So, but yeah, to come on out again, September 17th, 10 a.m. to 2. Get your reservations at roswellnmhistory.org or Roswell Theater, theatre.org, and get your tickets now. But if you forget, and you wake up on the 17th and it's like, oh, that's at 10 o'clock. Let's just head on out there. Come on down. We'll get you. You might have to hang out a little bit while some of the reservations go through. But while you're there, you can walk around and see the grounds and come see our bricks. Come see our flag while you're here. Come see some of the beautiful stuff. Yeah, come by. Go talk to John and Donna on the porch. And maybe they'll share their lemonade with you if you're real nice. Very good. Well, thank you guys.
Thank you.
We'll see you here.
Appreciate it.
See you here soon, and have fun. That's what it's all about. It's having fun, and that's what you're going to have when you come out. It's just a lot of fun, a lot of good people just having a good time, and come experience it with us. So, good deal. All right, it is 9:50.
Coalition next month will honor 28 winners to include 11 preschools, 12 school districts, 5 senior centers, and New Mexico farmers around the state during a virtual awards ceremony on September 14th. An Artesia teenager killed last week when the vehicle he was a passenger in collided with a semi-truck. New Mexico State Police responded to the two-vehicle crash on US 285 near West Atoka Road, just south of Artesia. The initial investigation indicated one vehicle was traveling south. For reasons still under investigation, the 19-year-old driver attempted to turn onto West Atoka Road, but turned directly in front of a 2015 Peterbilt semi-truck that was headed north on 285. The semi-truck struck the passenger side of the Dodge. A 15-year-old passenger in the vehicle was killed. No names are released. You're up to date from the Pecos Valley Newsroom. I'm Jared Sorello reporting.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. We have plenty of moist air available and low pressure centered over western Texas and eastern New Mexico, and that means some showers and thunderstorms for us today. Our afternoon high about 80. Rain looks pretty likely. Scattered showers this evening, cloudy overnight and down to 65. A little bit nicer on Thursday, a mix of sun and clouds, and we'll stay comfortable on the daytime highs, mid-80s, maybe a late day shower. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bill Alexander. Arizona Governor Doug Ducey arrived in Taiwan on Tuesday for a visit focused on semiconductors, those critical chips that are used in everyday electronics and have become a battleground in technology competition between the United States and China. His visit is the latest in a recent string by U.S. politicians that have angered China, which claims the self-governing island off its coast as part of its territory. Ducey is on a mission to woo suppliers for the new $12 billion Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Corporation plant being built in his state. Best Buy posted lower fiscal second quarter profits and sales, but the results announced on Tuesday were above analyst expectations. That pushed shares up more than 2% higher in early afternoon trading. Drivers are still finding relief at the gasoline pump. For now, the national average for a gallon of gas is $3.84. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bill Alexander in Washington.
It's time for the Chavez County Sports Report. Good show last night, although not a victory, but it was an impressive outing for the Goddard Lady Rockets soccer team, as Goddard played one of the best teams lately, last few years in girls soccer, Carlsbad. That was on the road, and Carlsbad wins that by a 1-0 count over Goddard, which is now 3-4 on the season. They got a boys soccer score from last night. NMMI is 0-2 on the season. A couple of tough losses to begin things last night, losing against Clovis by a 3-2 count. Speaking of NMMI, the Broncos, the defending JC national champs, won their season opener last weekend over Papago, 44-13. a 30-point second quarter. Oh, that'll do it. The Sports Report brought to you by DSI. Call DSI for all your office technology needs. I'm Eric Butler at Roswell's Talk FM 106.5.
When you think of home health care here in Roswell, what's the first thing that pops into your head? That's right, Frontier Medical. We've been doing it better than anyone else for over 20 years. From in-home nursing to physical therapy and so much more. Doctors and hospitals from Albuquerque to Lubbock and everywhere in between have been trusting their patients to us here at Frontier Medical. So when it's time to make a choice, remember Frontier Medical. 575-627-1112. Frontier Medical. Name to remember.
The season roars on for your Roswell Coyotes, and coming up this Friday night, your Coyotes are back home at the Wool Bowl, taking on the Eagles of Hobbs High. 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM and KSBPTV.com will have top-to-bottom coverage of the game. Join Art Sandoval and Kelly McDonald for coverage beginning with the pregame show at 6:45 and kickoff at 7. Coyotes versus the Eagles of Hobbs High, Friday night beginning at 6:45 on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM and online at KSBPTV.com. Southeastern New Mexico's Sports Authority, then, now, and always.
The inventor of Pringles is buried in a Pringles can. I wonder if they got their hands stuck putting him in there. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 8:58. Stay tuned next hour, about 9:15 or so. We're going to replay an interview we had yesterday in the 7 o'clock hour with Sarah East. She's a certified physician's assistant with Loveless Regional Hospital, and we had a great discussion talking about Botox. How it can help medically with not just headaches. That's one thing. They help with migraines and things. The part about making your skin look younger, that's just a side bonus of Botox. But they do a lot of stuff medically, and she talks about some of the different things you can do medically with Botox, like curing headaches. But it even goes more than that, helping stroke patients. If you've got limited movement on like your arms, legs, and things like that, they can use Botox to help kind of unseize up those muscles for stroke patients. Also, people that have chronic sweating issues, like if your armpits or feet and you just sweat more than you should, Botox can help with that stuff. And we talk all about that with Sarah East. So we'll play that conversation for you next hour. Don't forget, the Lions Club is having a big barbecue and dance happening September 17th at Backdraft Barbecue there in the 3rd Street Station Pavilion. Music's provided by JD and Susan. It is sponsored by the Midday Lions Club. No alcohol on the premises. They're going to have a raffle with donations from local merchants. Buy your tickets online at middaylions.org. I'm sorry, RoswellMiddayLions.org. Again, that's www.roswellmiddaylions.org. Cost is $10 per person, $15 per couple, or family for $25. But September 17th, 6 to 10 p.m. there. Support the Lions Club. All right, you're listening to 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM, KEND, or Roswell, New Mexico.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. The Justice Department dismissing as unnecessary former President Trump's request for a special master to review documents seized by the FBI at Mar-a-Lago.
According to a new court filing, the Justice Department already completed its review of potentially privileged documents. It said that a special master was therefore unnecessary and that the presidential records that were taken from the Florida estate do not belong to Trump. The DOJ also claims that government records were likely concealed from prosecutors and efforts were likely taken to obstruct the government's investigation.
White House correspondent Greg Clugston, the former president, claims the government records in his possession were declassified. With the FBI under intense scrutiny over allegations of improper political activity, Attorney General Garland has fired off a letter to Justice Department staffers detailing a new policy stating that non-career appointees may not attend partisan political events. President Biden is defending the FBI, and with the crucial midterm elections looming and crime soaring, now he's railing against Democrat calls for defunding the police. Citing issues including the southern border crisis, the botched withdrawal from Afghanistan, and the problem-plagued handling of the pandemic, some House Republicans introducing articles of impeachment against President Biden.
Those resolutions never had a chance of seeing the light of day, with Democrats holding a narrow control over the lower chamber. But with Republicans widely expected to win the House majority in the midterms, many of those same conservatives want to tap their new potential powers to oust a president they deem unfit.
That's correspondent Bernie Bennett. On it goes, a drinking water crisis. Jackson, Mississippi, the city struggling to deliver bottled water to city residents. Wall Street, the Dow down 38 points. NASDAQ is off 2, and the S&P trading 1 point lower. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Charlie Dombeck here from Key City Capital. As a practicing CPA for nearly 30 years, I have found that 80% of your ability to grow your wealth is dependent upon 2 factors: taxes and investment performance. At Key City Capital, we improve investment performance by diversifying capital into off-market investment opportunities in passive rental real estate and alternatives like asset-backed lending. We recover dollars that clients unnecessarily pay in the form of income taxes, creating a lifetime annuity of savings. We are a sponsor of passive, affordable single and multifamily residential rental investments, which are located in Sunbelt landlord-friendly states. These investments are the top choices in a rising interest rate and inflationary environment. They represent a store of value, protecting your capital from market volatility. Learn how we at Key City Capital can help you ultimately grow your wealth rapidly. Connect with me at keycitycapital.com or give me a call at 817-912-1569.
They're getting closer.
A convoy of jeeps carrying nuclear inspectors is crossing Ukraine towards the Russian-held Zaporizhzhia power plant, holding the world's hope that it could help secure the safety of the facility in the middle of a war zone and avoid any nuclear catastrophe. Yet, ominously, the Russian-backed local authorities there are claiming Ukrainian forces have shelled the territory of the plant and a nearby town overnight. Rafael Grossi, head of the International Atomic Energy Agency, says, "We're going to a war zone. We're going to occupied territory." I'm Charles de Ledesma.
Toyota investing $5.6 billion in Japan and the U.S. to boost production of batteries for electric vehicles. That's according to the automaker, which has enjoyed success with its Prius and other hybrid models, which have an engine as well as a battery-driven electric motor, and therefore the company has at times been seen as a laggard on electric vehicles. Townhall.com. Texas confirms a monkeypox death.
The patient was an adult resident of Harris County who was severely immunocompromised. The case is under investigation to determine what role monkeypox played in the death. People should contact their health care provider if they develop fever, chills, swollen lymph nodes, and a new unexplained rash. People who are diagnosed with monkeypox should stay home and avoid close contact with others until the rash has fully resolved. John Scott reporting.
Tourism came roaring back to France this summer, sending revenues over pre-pandemic levels. That's according to government data released this week. Crowds packing Paris landmarks and Riviera beaches, notably thanks to an influx of Americans benefiting from the weak euro. But there are also a lot of British and other European visitors reveling in the end of pandemic restrictions. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The devil wishing, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican world radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 9 o'clock. welcome to hour number 3.
Tres Inviernos.
Mornings with Mike Winters, right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Happy Wednesday, everybody.
Happy halfway day.
Yeah. All right. I hate social media. But then I love social media.
Okay.
And I hate it because people say whatever they want on it, and that drives me nuts. But then I just spent, like, I went through, like, some Twitter page that just shows videos of funny, cool things. Not anything, just random stuff. And I just watched a beluga whale give a guy his phone back. So a guy dropped his cell phone in the sea, and a beluga whale swam back to the surface with it in his mouth and handed it to the people in the boat.
That's nice of him.
Yeah. I'm sure the phone's ruined, but,
well, yeah, but
how often is that, like, a creature from the wild?
Hey, thanks,
This wasn't even at, like, SeaWorld or something. It was, like, in a,
You reminded me of something. There was a glorious age of the internet, and it's not a thing anymore.
Yeah.
But do you remember, or did you ever take advantage of Stumble Upon?
No.
So Stumble Upon was amazing. It was just a website. You go to stumbleupon.com.
Okay.
And it had a button. You'd go through and, like, you'd fill out, like, some of these are my interests. I like gadgets. I like, funny stuff. I like memes. I like future stuff.
Right.
And then you just hit Stumble, and it would just take you somewhere on the internet, some random website. And it could be like a time waster, like click here to click here to click.
Okay, yeah.
A game. It could be a useful app.
Sure.
Maybe something kind of like money saving thing.
Like Facebook and all this have worked, like, their algorithms in their thing to kind of do something similar to
Kind of,
now.
yeah. But each stumble, and it was so much fun because you never knew where you were going to stumble next.
Yeah.
Like, I would be reading this article about, like, self-driving cars and the future of those and technology and stuff. And then the next thing I know, I clicked it, and it was like, Aaron Rodgers memes, or whatever. And it was the most random thing, but it was perfect for that generation of just, like, the most random-minded people. It's like, I want to go over here. Squirrel. What? Just like, I have so much OCD about that. But I loved Stumble Upon. It was such a cool little site.
Yeah, it was just some Twitter page, and it's just they show different videos of stuff like that. Like there was one of a panda bear playing with a bamboo stick.
Right.
There at the zoo, and
playing with his food.
Well, it was like Kung Fu Panda. He was rolling around doing, like, spinning the stick. It was just playing, doing its thing, but kind of looked like a real life Kung Fu Panda, and it was kind of that's entertaining. And then there was one of like a dog that would not leave the bed to sleep with the kid to protect the kid. It was like, oh, isn't that neat? And it was like a big Siberian Husky or something, and it would sleep in the bed, would not get out of bed, and literally was just there watching the kid, taking care of the kid, and sleeping with the kid.
Inevitably, whenever you see a story about, like, a dog doing something loyal or standing by their master or whatever, inevitably, in the comments, you can almost, without fail, scroll down and find a GIF, that GIF from Futurama of the dog sitting in front of Panucci's pizza until he dies.
Right.
Yeah, that the saddest moment in Futurama history, by the way, if you've never seen it. They play 1,000 Summers. That old song. I'll wait for you for 1,000 summers. And this dog's just, like, sitting here waiting, looking around. Seymour's just looking around for Fry. Fry's in the future. Fry didn't come back. Spoiler alert.
Making you cry off.
Oh, man, dude.
Futurama.
That first time I watched that episode, I mean, streaming down my face. Futurama was really good about that with a few episodes. They sort of, like, knocked it out. They really did have a thing. By the way, I found something. I've heard about this, but I found it.
Okay.
At a local.
Oh, it's in a bag.
Allsup's.
A beverage?
I found.
Oh, Coca-Cola. What's this? The new Dream World?
Dream World.
Okay.
It's called Dream World. It's literally says it's dream flavored. And I found the zero sugar.
Oh, okay. So this is, for folks that aren't aware, Coca-Cola has, like, this limited series.
Like a signature line of.
Yeah, and the first one was space. Like, it tasted like space. And then I can't remember what the next one was.
It was, I think it was supposed to taste like technology.
Technology or something. So this one's supposed to taste like your dreams, huh? All right, so I guess we're going to try this. Now, for those watching at home, we've got the zero version of the Coca-Cola Dream World. and it comes in a light blue, like sky colored with clouds. I don't know if the other ones do or not.
The bottle is very odd, by the way. It almost looks like a dream. Oh, sorry. Let me get on mic.
The
bottle's very odd. It's like it literally looks like a dream because it's like garbled up.
Yeah, it's got like boxes floating and like a pool thing floating and just like someone's dreams. But yeah. So,
what happened to the internet flavored one?
I came and went.
These don't stay on the shelves long. They're only out for maybe a month. And
the Sparklight or whatever, not Sparklight. The Starlight one is still,
that one's stuck
still
around. I see that one at Walmart a lot.
Well, here's the problem with these flavors for me. They're fine, but they're not regular drinkers. None of them taste like something you want to drink all the time.
They're we'll try it for the thing. Say we did it.
Yeah, but generally speaking, it's got a goofy, weird taste that tastes okay and is drinkable and edible. But after a while, you're like, I'm good. I don't need any more of this. So that's been my experience with the first.
I don't want to go into it thinking or like making any kind of assumptions. I did pull up what they say it's supposed to taste like, so I'm gonna look that up in a second. But
so we're truly flying blind on what this tastes like.
So I'm really curious. I have a theory though about these. And I was kind of telling a friend about that. But I'll get to that in a second. Smell test. Okay, there's definitely like a fruit note. I'm not sure what kind of like citrus, like a.
Yeah, it's a
grapefruit maybe. It might be grapefruit. I'm not real sure. It's kind of citrusy.
It almost has like.
Do you want to?
It's citrusy, but it's like a gum.
Kinda
flavored citrus.
My friend Misty's a super taster. I'd like to actually see what she thinks about like the full sugar version.
Yeah,
because she's not big on soda. I only grabbed 2 cups.
It smells like orange juice.
Kind of like an orange juice, yeah.
Yeah, a little bit.
So.
Well, if it's grapefruit, I'm probably not gonna like it because I don't like grapefruit.
No.
It's definitely something citrus, but I'm not sure what that has to or ascertains to dreams. So I guess I'll do this. I'll give you a cup. You a cup, and I'll go off the bottle.
Go off the bottle. I know.
There we go.
All right.
Take it and sink it.
Yeah, it's gotta. You know what it kind of tastes like?
Plant a seed in my head because I have no idea. I can't.
Initially, it tastes like Big Red to me.
Okay, I can kind of get that.
But later on, it changes. I'm not a fan.
Kind of red cream. I'm not either. I'm really not.
It does have it's almost like Coke and Fanta got mixed together. Like orange Fanta and
so
Coke.
That's actually kind of funny that you say that because here's my theory.
I like that it's subdued though.
It is.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. It's subdued in that it doesn't taste like anything specific.
Yeah.
Here's my theory. I think that Coke has figured out a way to basically make, the white mystery Airhead?
Yes.
Or more specifically, or I guess another example would be the mystery Dum Dum.
Uh-huh.
So in both of those cases, the flavor is nobody can tell you what the flavor is because it's not the same ever.
I remember the mystery Airhead.
Because what they do is they run a batch of candy to kind of clean out the different flavors. Like if they were just making a blue raspberry and they're about to run a green apple, they run this beforehand to kind of mix the two to kind of get all the
so whatever
flavors.
just happened to be before there is the hodgepodge.
So I wonder if they didn't if they're not just like cleaning out the vats at Coke and they're like, well, we can run a batch of soda water in this and run it, say it tastes like dreams.
Yeah,
this is club soda mixed with Coke.
Yeah,
it almost has a Fanta.
Like they weren't. It touches on a lot of different things.
Or
like
Sunkist,
kind of a big red,
orange.
kind of an orange.
Yeah, but I like at the beginning it was a hint of Big Red I got, but then as I drank it more, I got more notes of like a Sunkist or a Fanta soda.
I'm gonna see what the internet says because
I'm gonna guess it's like an orange Fanta Coca-Cola.
I want to say it's
with a hint
like
of Big Red,
like a season, like summer or fall, or something like that.
It evokes maybe those notes. Okay, so here's what it says. Coke's been releasing Coke Starlight, which they said it's sweeter than Pixie Sticks milkshake, is how they describe it. Let's see. Dream World has possibly the coolest concept, the flavor of a dream, and it definitely has the coolest label. Yada yada yada.
Although this is the zero version.
Let's see. It says it looks like regular Coke when you pour it over ice. Overwhelming fruit aroma rises when you crack the can. I didn't detect much, if any, cola flavor I puzzled over how to describe the flavor. Here's what I come up with. Maybe if you had a party and you made a huge bowl of fruit punch and then accidentally dropped a splash of Coke into it, that's what Dream World tastes like. I can't identify what fruit is in the drink, but there's definitely a Carmen Miranda's hat-inspired tropical fruit edge. I asked my teen daughter to try and nail down the fruit, and her instant response was, you know what? And this actually, you're not wrong, yellow Tic Tacs.
Okay.
So do you remember when, and I think it was banana flavored.
All right.
Tic Tac for Minions, they did like a banana flavored Tic Tac, and they were yellow.
You know what? Now that you say that, the banana runts do come across.
It does kind of
have notes of that in there to it.
The taste is more candy sweet than anything grown in nature. The sweetness doesn't carry any citrus edge to it, so fruit was perhaps adjacently involved. Like it happened, it rolled past a mango.
Yeah.
But
so we're not far off, I think.
Yeah.
On our assessment, according to that one, anyway. So interesting. Did you like it?
I'm not a fan.
You like it?
I like it.
I'll say this.
I'm not a fan either.
I liked Starlight more than I like this. Or was the last one Starlight, or was that the?
That was the first one, the Starlight.
Okay. Was it the campfire one that we tried?
Yeah, that was this.
I wanted to try the internet one.
Yeah, I never saw that. Like it showed up in Fortnite, like as a digital version in Fortnite, and they said you can get it, I guess, online, but I never found it.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Yeah,
but I like the subdued flavor of this.
Tastes like subdued.
This is
subdued.
2. The second one we had was better. The first one was the worst.
Yeah.
This one's right in the middle, in my opinion.
It's not. I'm not going to buy more of it. But
Yeah.
it's worth it for the try.
I'm good, but give it a try today. We're going to play our interview we had with Sarah East, health expert, telling you not to drink what we just talked about. But we actually talked, she's a certified physician's assistant. We talked Botox and talked about some of the medical treatments that they're using Botox for. And a lot of them could help maybe some folks out there today. So we're going to play that here in just a few. Before we do any of that, though, let's take a look at your weather. Whether it'll rain or not, we hope so, but it sounds like it will.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. We have plenty of moist air available and low pressure centered over western Texas and eastern New Mexico, and that means some showers and thunderstorms for us today. Our afternoon high about 80. Rain looks pretty likely. Scattered showers this evening, cloudy overnight, and down to 65. A little bit nicer on Thursday, a mix of sun and clouds, and we'll stay comfortable on the daytime highs, mid-80s, maybe a late day shower. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 73 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 76%. Winds currently out of the north at 8 miles per hour. We are looking at an 80% chance of rain today. Our temperature and our rain chances are exactly the same. Coincidence? Yes, it is. But we are looking at an 80% chance of showers and thunderstorms, mainly this afternoon. High of 80 today with northeast winds at 10 miles per hour. They're saying rainfall amounts between a quarter and a half inch possible during the day today. Tonight, we're looking at a 50% chance of showers and thunderstorms, mainly before midnight, mostly cloudy, overnight low of 65 degrees, east winds 5 to 10 miles per hour, saying new rainfalls tonight, less than a tenth of an inch expected, except when a thunderstorm rolls through the area. Thursday, we're looking at a 20% chance of showers and thunderstorms, partly cloudy, 83 for a high, north winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Friday, mostly sunny, no talk of rain for Friday, high of 89 with south winds 5 to 10. And then for your Labor Day weekend, we are looking at Saturday, a 30% chance of showers and thunderstorms, mostly sunny, highs right around 90. Sunday, we're looking at a 20% chance of showers and thunderstorms, mostly sunny, highs around 86. And then for your Labor Day Monday, a 20% chance of showers and thunderstorms, mostly sunny, and 85 for a high on Labor Day. So we'll see how that shapes up. What's up?
Would I be wrong if I said it tasted like Hawaiian Punch?
Well, that's kind of what, they're saying it's like a fruit punch with a splash of soda. So, no, that's in the neighborhood. I can see that. Yeah.
I don't know. I just that one ringed into my
It's just
brain.
got a more citrusy taste than fruit punch to me. It's a little bit where fruit punch has got more of that, fruit punch taste, that red cherry, whatever it is.
It has this like summery flavor to it. Like something you drink like Capri Sun or something like that in the summer.
I could see that. Capri Sun. I could see that, but not my bag, not my thing. All right, it is 9:21. Let's go ahead and take a quick 2-minute break, and then we're going to play our interview with Sarah East from Loveless Hospital on the other side. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
Oasis Computers has been Roswell's trusted source for home and small business computers for over 30 years, and they continue to be your best resource for computer repairs, operating system upgrades, web root managed, antivirus, special orders, and more. Oasis Computers is now open from 8 to 1, Monday through Friday to better serve you. Service calls by appointments and after-hour appointments are available too. Stop by Oasis Computers at 1703 North Garden or call or text 575-625-9141 for even faster service.
This is the owner of Trustmark Roofing, and nothing makes us happier than telling our customers no. As in, no pricing games. We give you a guaranteed price, and then we stand by it. No surprises, no gotchas. No obscurity. We don't just tell you what's wrong with your roof. We record our inspections and show you. No lemons. We install premium roofing materials from top brands like Owens Corning. No shortcuts. We're in the 2% of roofers with the Owens Corning Preferred Contractor Certificate for our local area. This means we offer precision installation and the longest warranties. Want a beautiful new roof that's built to last? Choose Trustmark Roofing, the roofer that loves to tell our customers no. For a free estimate, call us at 575-755-ROOF or find us online at trustmarkroofpros.com.
Trustmark Roofing, we put people first.
Another week of football action sees your Goddard Rockets taking flight once again, and this Friday night, your Rockets soar to Deming to take on the Wildcats. Fiera 106.1 FM and KSBPTV.com have you covered with every second of the game. Join Chris Deck and Chris Roybal for the pregame show beginning at 6:45 and kickoff at 7. Rockets versus the Wildcats of Deming High. Friday night beginning at 6:45 on Fiera 106.1 FM and online at KSBPTV.com. Southeastern New Mexico's sports authority, then, now, and always.
The octopus and the squid both have 3 hearts. That's why they eat so many Tums. Here's Mike Winters.
There it goes. All right. Joining us in studio. Sorry about that. Joining us in studio this morning. I'm going to get this out eventually. Sarah East is back with us with Loveless Regional Hospital, certified physician's assistant. Good morning.
Morning. How are you?
Doing great. How about yourself?
Very good. I appreciate you letting me back in here again.
Things sound like we don't like. Hold on. Who are you again? No,
Yeah.
It's a pleasure to have you back.
Thank you.
So for folks, if you don't remember our last conversation, you deal a lot with folks that need. What don't realize or may not realize, but Botox, things like that. Most people think Botox, they think of wrinkles and
the cosmetic
the
side.
cosmetic side of things, which if I remember correctly, originally Botox came out to serve as a headache for migraines.
Yes.
Which it does do.
Yeah, and that was the main thing that we talked about last time was the migraine portion of the therapeutic Botox.
Yeah.
And then since then, they've kind of expanded it to other therapeutic reasons, which is what we're here today.
Yeah. So Botox is kind of a wonder medicine in many aspects where many people use it for was just one of those, hey, it just happens to do that too. That's not what we designed it for, but
and you're like, wow,
bonus.
look at how pretty her forehead looks now. Let's start using it for those wrinkles.
But so it was a happy accident, as Bob Ross would once say here on this. But really, what it sounds like is they're actually finding out even more stuff that they're saying, you know what, Botox is kind of has ability to do more than just headaches and make wrinkles go away here.
Yeah.
They're helping with, I'm guessing, perspiration control, things like that.
So a couple other things that we use therapeutic Botox, which is what I wanted to kind of bring to everybody's attention today, is what you were mentioning just now is what we call hyperhidrosis.
Okay.
And that's where you have excessive sweating, primarily armpits, hands, the bottom of your feet.
Okay.
That really can affect a person's life because they're embarrassed because they're always sweating. They have the wet stains on their armpits, and they don't want to go do anything because they're embarrassed. So we found that Botox helps with that. Also for patients who have had strokes in the past, and they can get spasticity of their arms and their legs to where they're having chronic flexion of their arms, like at the elbow, the wrist, the fingers. So we found Botox helps with that as well.
Oh, wow.
And then also for TMJ, where you get the locked jaw or the pain and when you're chewing, we put Botox in your masseters and temporal muscles, and it calms the TMJ down as well.
And it keeps it from locking up as often or having the pain and those other issues associated with TMJ.
Yeah, so there's lots of good things about Botox as far as the therapeutic side.
Man, what's next? Like they're going to be like, it's great in salad too.
Yeah. Just don't mess with the burrito.
That's right. But that is cool that you know it really is a kind of a mini wonder drug in many aspects here. Whether if you need it as more of a just a self-esteem, wanting to feel and look better about yourself, to people that are dealing with chronic pain and other chronic issues like migraines and things like that. That's and we were just talking basically for most people that listen know what I've been dealing with my wife for the last couple of weeks here. I'm a little nervous about doing some of the traditional migraine treatments and things for what you diagnosed or think is something like that.
Yeah.
But when you go buy like you said, a store-bought thing, you could be doing more harm than you realize sometimes. That's why they say consult a physician before.
On every single box it says that in big bold letters.
You know why. But really this could be, for some people, maybe the migraine thing, this is that answer for them. But if you're one of those folks that like you said, they just, you just are naturally a sweater. I get it. I know when I was younger, not so much now as I gotten older, I've kind of, adapted, but like feet and dudes. I don't know, feet and dudes, they're not supposed to smell good. I don't know what it is, but.
Have you gone to a dorm before?
You're right. But I'm thinking, for someone that's got really bad problems there, a couple of the treatments with Botox could basically eliminate that problem, and you spend a lot less money on socks and odor eaters. So, and same thing with, if it's the armpit area, how many shirts get ruined? How many, and just think the self-esteem side when, I got a big job interview, you're already nervous. And so if your body's reaction is to sweat profusely, then you're like, well, man, I'm never going to get the job because I look like I'm always scared all the time.
Like I just came out of a rainstorm.
Yeah, I get it. It can be a debilitating, just socially or psychologically thing, even if there's not, a medical condition per se, other than it's a minor inconvenience. And you probably have to drink a lot more fluids.
Yeah. And so with the hyperhidrosis, it is a medical condition where our body naturally needs sweat to regulate its temperature.
Sure.
I mean, that's what sweat is for.
Sure.
But some people produce excessive amount of sweats in those areas. And so what Botox does is it goes in and it blocks those nerve signals to the sweat glands that prevents it from forming the sweat.
Okay.
And it helps them out. From the insurance standpoint, there are about 2 medications that we can prescribe to try it first. But by the time they come to you as a medical provider saying, hey, this is a real problem. I've tried every deodorant across the board, every soap. I'm changing my shirt 3 times a day.
They're burning our skin because they've got such powerful deodorants in there.
Exactly. So by the time they come to us, we now offer the Botox so that we can help you to where, if you come and get a treatment about every 4 to 6 months, it calms that excessive sweating down and it really changes their outlook on life and to where they're more social and able to go out and do things.
So does it cause that area that, depending on where you put it, like if your armpits...
Push it about the armpits, yeah.
Would those areas not sweat at all now, or would they sweat normally?
Well, it's kind of a pro and con. So depending on the amount you give, you can make it to where it doesn't sweat. But for the most part, you will still have a normal sweat without being excessive.
Well, you need to sweat because that, like you said, that's your body's regulating your temperature. That's. And if you don't do that, you're going to overheat or freeze or a lot easier than you normally would here.
Yeah.
So you got to be mindful of that.
And the treatment is fairly simple. We do all these therapeutic Botox treatments in the office, and you can just numb the area just very simply with a cream. It takes maybe 5 minutes to do both armpits, and the patients get great relief almost instantly.
Okay, so it's a little different than when you apply for like the forehead for.
Well, within the week, you should start seeing some improvement.
Good deal. Excellent. What And how is it something that you have to do right? Because I know with Botox for like cosmetic side, you have to do it every so months.
You would do it about every 4 to 6 months, just depending on how fast your nerves regenerate. Because what we're doing is we're blocking those nerve signals.
Gotcha.
So depending on how soon those nerves regenerate. So going back to the Botox for migraines, you know, patients come in on an every 13-week schedule to be getting the re-up on their Botox.
Okay, so it's similar. You just get on the schedule there and, you know, follow along, and then it should, you know, assuming you stay on your appointments and everything, should be good to go.
You should be good. And, you know, coming from the TMJ standpoint, patients who clench their teeth a lot, you know, when they're nervous or when they're sleeping, they're constantly having jaw pain if they're excessive gum chewers. So we can put Botox in your masseter muscles, which is right here, and we put a little bit in your temporal muscle here. And what that does is that calms those two muscles down to where you don't clench and tighten so much.
Gotcha.
To where that helps with that pain that you're having in your jaw area.
Is TMJ something that you can develop at any time, or is that something you're born with?
No,
or is
you
that...
develop it just because your habits.
Gotcha. So it's all habit forming.
Yeah, a lot of times dentists treat it. You know, they'll give you mouth guards that prevent you from clenching, different things of that sort.
Okay.
That's one of the other treatments. But when it gets to a point where they're wearing their mouth guard, they're still clenching during the day, or you chew excessively, we put the Botox there in the muscles, which kind of help not completely deaden, but weaken it to where you're not clenching so much.
Gotcha. Because I imagine at some point you're starting to wear down bone and things.
Yeah, you can wear your teeth down, and so your dentist will say, hey, your teeth are kind of getting flat back there. Are you a clencher? And then that's when they give you the mouth guard, especially at nighttime, to prevent that.
Well, and anytime you're in the head area, like anytime you have pain in one way, it seems to impact the whole head. So like if it's a jaw issue and you're having jaw pain, that pain travels up your ears, and you know what I mean? And so it feels a lot worse than it maybe actually is.
Yeah.
And so why deal with that?
Muscles. Yeah. And so that's why I love the Botox for the TMJ as well, because that one as well, you know, people come in, they have chronic TMJ, they hurt all the time, they go and open their mouth or go bite something, it's painful. So we put that Botox in those two areas, and they're good to go after that for a while.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And so these are great options for folks if you're, and that's you, because these are the kind of things that people deal with, and they're just like, oh, I'm fine. And then, you know, especially if it's a mom or a dad where they're worried about the kids, and like, nah, don't worry about me, I'll be good. Let's take care of the kids.
I'll take care of it. Yeah. And then they don't want to wear their mouth guard, and they're just miserable all the time. And it's, you know, come see me, and I'll give you Botox.
This is a simple procedure. You're in and out. Come in once every couple months or so here, and get on that schedule. And it's just like anything else you probably do in your life when you go to a gym membership or any other. You just sign up and go do your thing,
just get it done.
Yeah, and it'll save you a world of headache and hurt, literally and figuratively here with the headache.
Exactly. Yeah. And then going on to the spasticity, you know, from the stroke standpoint. So you can have a hemorrhagic stroke or an ischemic stroke, but one of the most common post complications is spasticity. And what that is where your muscles contract, like they get so tight to where your arm flexes either at the elbow.
It's like freezes or something?
Yeah, freezes like in the elbow, the wrist, the hand, the fingers, to where you're at a full flexion essentially in different levels of the arm or the leg as well. And what happens is the tendons and the soft tissues get frozen to where it becomes painful after a while. And it's most common within the first year of a stroke. So if you have physical therapy coming in, trying to help manipulate and open your range of motion of your arm, you know, they can do a lot if they get on it right away. But that's where Botox comes in as well, therapeutic Botox, because we're able to go and loosen those muscles to allow the physical therapist to come in and help relax the arm and the hands.
Kind of like, say you got a slinky, for folks who remember slinkies, and it's like trying to play with a slinky when it's all tight and coiled up.
Yeah, when it's all coiled up, you can't stretch it out.
It doesn't go downstairs alone or in pairs and make a slinkety sound. It doesn't do any of that. But with the Botox, it allows, in essence, your slinky to come out and come in and stretch, and so which allows it to move. So that's in essence what that Botox is doing. It's going and breaking up that froze up muscle, basically, and allowing your joints and everything to do rehab and get you back to your movement and all that too.
You know, because that's one of the biggest things for the post-stroke is that patients end up becoming reliant on caregivers because they lose their ability to feed themselves, dress themselves, bathe themselves, all because they lose that full function of either one arm or the leg. And so if we can come in and help to where they can at least open their grip,
Right.
relax and open their hand to where they can at least maybe pick something up. That gives them this huge, quality of life improvement on helping them to where they feel much better and trying to get some of their independence back.
I would even imagine too, it's just the mental side of it, where if you're not seeing results in your rehab, there, or feeling like you are, you start buying less into the program, and you're starting to less likely to show up and do your rehabs and things. Whereas these Botox injections could actually give you the results you're looking for. And it's like, okay, these Botox along with my rehab, now I'm getting as close to full motion of my joint or whatever it is I lost in the first place. And it gives it's kind of like one needs the other to really give the patient that full success story.
It covers all the bases, and people don't realize, but 25 to 40% of patients have spasticity after a stroke. And that's terrible numbers. So if we can help you and work as a team, between the doctors and the physical therapists and therapeutic Botox, that helps tremendously on improving the quality of life.
Sure. Well, and I think we all know we have family members or something when people hit those certain milestones where they lose those abilities. Life in general just tends to go downhill because, maybe depression, maybe all the other issues that start creeping in. It's like, well, I guess I'm stowed up. I'm not moving. I'm old. I'm useless. And then all of the mental health stuff starts coming in. So I'm not trying to put like this, major, this is going to save your life, but in reality, this is that type of thing that could be the difference between someone going to care and fight through and versus I'm just getting old and I'm giving up. This might be that difference maker to allow that to happen, to keep people wanting to pursue and fight and enjoy life again.
Yes.
So.
They start seeing the results, and again, just like the other Botox, you have to do it continuously. But on the dosing of it is kind of more of a trial and error. We start conservative just to see what we get as far as relaxing that muscle, and whether it's the arm or the hand and the fingers. And then, I always want to explain to patients, hey, if it's not enough this time, I'm going to be seeing you back and we're going to do a little bit more next time. But we want to titrate it to the dose that gives you that freedom of opening the range of motion and being able to utilize, hopefully, your arm, in the near future.
Yeah, it's all all right. It's kind of like, when you make something the first time, all right, add a little bit more liquid. Yeah, that's still too dry. Let's add a little bit more. It's no different than that. She's basically just, all right, let's put a little in and see how your body reacts. And if it reacts positively and it doesn't cover what we need to do, then we can up it. If it happens to be enough, then awesome, we nailed it. But but that's really what's going on there. And so if you don't get if you don't get super positive results first time, there's other things. We're just trying to see if we're going in the right direction with your treatment or if we're way off base here.
Yes.
And that gives you that indicator. So.
Yes. And so that's why I'm really excited about promoting it, is just to let people know that, hey, if you're having this issue, there's options for you. If you're not getting, you're doing the therapy and you're just not getting those results, there's more options to try. And people don't think about Botox. They don't really realize that it's therapeutic. And so that's why I really love promoting it on this side of it.
Sure. While we're talking Botox, I kind of want to get back to the headaches just real quick.
Yes.
And, can you explain what qualifies as a migraine versus a regular headache? Like people that get just frequent headaches, are those part of migraines, or is that a different? I know there's 100 possibilities when you get a headache on what it could be, but what is that major delineator that's a migraine versus just a garden variety headache?
So from the migraine, it's debilitating. So you have the light sensitivity, the sound sensitivity. Most of the time, a lot of women or men will have nausea with it. They physically have to go into a closed room.
Light sensitivity.
Yeah. And so it's the debilitating side of it. So a minor headache, you can still function and do your job. But a migraine will knock you down to where you have to physically remove yourself from whatever you're doing.
Okay.
Go lay down, try and close your eyes, relax.
So the difference is the pain level, basically.
Correct.
If it's one where you can't, be in a room that's bright or noises and all that's impacting, you're just like, ugh, then that's probably more in the migraine territory versus.
And then from the Botox, they require, from the insurance standpoint, at least 8 migraines a month. So you can have a daily headache, but they want you to at least say, hey, I have a regular headache all the time, just a gnawing ache all the time.
Sure.
But it turns into a full migraine at least 8 times during a month.
And each person's different on that. Some, they get them for maybe a short period of time. Some, they're done for the day,
Or
it's like
several
they get
days.
Yeah. So it does vary on the debilitatingness of the migraine. But if you're seeing or experiencing light sensitivity, noise sensitivity, nauseous, all that, then odds are pretty good that that's a migraine territory. So you need to lay down, or at least do go in a cool dark room and just shut the world off. That's what a lot of folks that suffer do that. So.
Yeah, and then they'll take the over-the-counters, but it's one of those things, kind of like what you're mentioning with your wife, is always go make sure with the healthcare provider that it's not anything more serious before we just kind of write it off and take ibuprofen or Tylenol.
Well, and that's the thing. It's kind of like COVID. You hear the symptoms and you're like, yeah, that sounds like a million things. Well, headache is a symptom for just about every human affliction out there.
Yes, everything.
So just because you have a headache doesn't mean it's migraine, and doesn't mean it's serious or not serious, or it could be. It could be, and my wife and I we learned this firsthand here over this last month, but yeah, it's not. But at the same time, don't run around, because I've heard this too. Where I've got a bunch of friends now, because we really don't know what caused this, that are like, every time I bump my head now, I'm nervous, I'm going to do it. And it's like, well, live your life. Don't do that.
We don't want you to be in a bubble either.
But just be aware that, when something doesn't seem normal, don't just chalk it off as a bump and bruise. Maybe have an expert look at it and determine whether those headaches are migraine, or, you just got a cold, or you just stress out and you need to, take care of yourself a little bit.
If you have a headache, one day every couple of months, it's probably from stress or something else going on. But when you have the criteria is when you have worsening headaches, like it's not going away, you're taking over the counters and it's just continuously every day, that's when you need to seek attention. Because a lot of times, if it's just a migraine sporadically, it's probably just a mild headache. But if you're getting full migraines and they're becoming more progressive, then you need to get that.
Is there any kind of family history? Like if you have family members that get migraines and stuff, does that increase your odds, or is there any of that?
It could. I'm not exactly sure on the statistics on the hereditary side of it,
Gotcha.
But it is possible where my dad always got migraines and I get migraines, but that's where you should still get it checked out.
Okay. I just didn't know if it was more of a lifestyle thing that causes them, or there's a DNA thing that causes it.
A whole multitude of things.
And the answer is yes.
Yes. Anything you want to come up with, Mike? Yes.
Aliens,
Yep, there you go.
Ninjas flying from, yes.
Yeah.
Cheeseburgers, Silent killer.
Yeah. So there's more information on going back to the stroke side with the spasticity. If you go into the American Stroke Association online, they actually have a full, first thing on the top of the page is a full breakdown on spasticity and different treatments, and then obviously talks about Botox on there as well.
Yeah.
So I was kind of excited to see that on there, kind of promoting it from their end too.
Gotcha. I know I'm jumping back and forth, but back to the perspiration and things like that. Is there like an age limit on that where you're kind of, because I know, teenagers and things want it, but is that a good area to start with them, or is that too young? Or?
No, if you have excessive sweating, so there's an actual classification, like a scoring system.
Okay.
So if you have excessive sweating and you meet the scoring system, then you qualify for it.
Okay. Because I didn't know if part of that's just growing up, because teenage boys sweat and
they do
spew all kinds of stuff.
But that's where you want to talk about deodorant and hygiene.
Sure.
And
this isn't the first line of defense here. This is after several of trying other things, deodorants, things like that. But when you just get out of the shower, put your deodorant on, and then put your shirt on, and then a half hour later you're dripping and sweating, you didn't go to the gym or nothing, then maybe this might be something that we need to talk to an expert about.
Right, right. Yeah, and so that was, that's one of the things that girls especially are very self-conscious about. Boys are used to it. How you kept talking about, they work out, they excessively sweat. But girls are a little bit more self-conscious because they don't want to have the sweat.
They don't
stains
sweat,
on
they
their
perspire.
parts.
I remember.
Right, yeah. You know? And so, you'll see this a lot more in the younger girls wanting to get this treated.
Sure. But I think it's, equally because, I remember back in, when I was in my 20s and stuff and sweated more and stuff. And, yeah, there's a couple of those, days you wake up and you put your shirt on and by the time you get to your job or whatever, like, dude.
Oh, gosh. Yeah. I did my schooling in Miami, Florida, so it's humid all the time. So imagine driving to school at 8 in the morning and you're already sweating because of humidity.
Yeah.
But this is excessive sweating.
Yes, this is where, like you said, it was like you're just sitting there and you got pit stains that are showing up. Correct. And you're not really exerting yourself or doing anything to cause your body to need to cool down in those areas too. And so if you have those problem areas, I'm guessing, your feet, hands, probably behind the knee. That's probably an area that probably gets a little common for some folks too.
Yes.
And then your armpits, things like that. But definitely, please talk and that's just it. That's where you need to talk to Sarah, the expert here, because she can tell you, no, that's just garden variety. We can Botox is not. You're not there yet. Let's talk about changing your deodorant or doing something like that. But that starts the track record. If that's not giving you what you need, then Sarah, all right, let's start with a little Botox. And like we said, and who knows, because we don't want you to just turn into the Sahara there and start overload. And next thing you know, it's like my arms won't move because there's no friction from.
Well, from the hyperhidrosis, it is pretty much a set dosing that we use on the armpits that have been studied to work well on the sweat glands. From the stroke side with the spasticity, it is a tighter dosing.
Gotcha. It depends on how.
Same thing with the cervical dystonia with the neck spasms. It's a tighter dosing.
Now with the stroke, for folks that are recovering from stroke, can you do it pretty much anywhere? I mean, wherever they're experiencing.
Well, right now it's just approved for arms and legs.
Okay, I didn't know if there were any kind of facial stuff that they can help with that. Or...
you'll have the facial drooping and so forth, but that's not where the Botox is going to help you because it's already weakened.
Okay.
And so you got to realize what Botox is doing is it's weakening the muscle.
Gotcha.
And so it's more where you're having the contracture of a muscle that you want to put it.
So it'd be the opposite. To make it droop worse.
Correct.
I gotcha. Okay. Yeah, makes sense. Yeah. That makes sense now. Yeah. When we got to wrinkles and I'm like, oh, maybe, I don't know. Maybe to go this way. Tighten up one way and go this way. I don't know. But, but point is, if you're dealing with any of this stuff, if you got issues from stroke, just being stowed up in your arms, legs, things like that, this can help. Sweating, if you got that's an issue, please see her. And then of course, if you have migraines or I just want my face to look a little nicer.
There you go. I do that on the side as well.
All of the above can be done.
All the above, yes. And then the neck spasms, we talked about that last time with the cervical dystonia. If you have chronic neck spasms, the Botox takes care of that as well.
Gotcha. And by the way, it's pretty, it's not that painful. It's a very simple little procedure. It's not anything. Because I know, here Botox, and it's the little needle injections for the cosmetic. It's just a little pinch, essentially. I call it spicy. Yeah, it's kind of like acupuncture. Like, when they do, they put the little neat pins, you don't really feel those when they put them. It's the same in that ballpark. It's not like a tattoo or something.
Yeah, no, it's not painful. Yeah, it's not painful.
Yeah, exactly. But if you're experiencing any of these things, please call her office direct, set up an appointment. You can reach out to Sarah at Loveless at 575-627-4200. Again, that's 575-627-4200. Or stop by the Loveless Healthcare Center, 1112 North Main Street there. Yes. Not the hospital.
Not the hospital. We're in the clinic.
In the clinic itself.
On Main Street.
So, but you can walk to the hospital to get the burritos. Yeah. So no burritos in the clinic. Sorry. Of course I'm going to say it. They were waiting for it.
I know. You and the burritos. I still have not received a burrito from you yet, Mike. Come on.
They're pretty good. Yeah. They're really good. They're, you know what? If you got wrinkles in your belly, they'll smooth them right out. You eat enough of those things.
I guess you can look at it one way. I'm not promoting that. That's all, Mike.
You'll die happy at least. But definitely call, schedule an appointment, set up a consultation with Sarah East.
Yes.
She can sit down and go and tell you exactly, even if maybe Botox, you're not there yet for that, she can definitely start you on the process and say, all right, let's try this, this, and this first.
Yes.
And if that doesn't see the results we want, then let's get you into the Botox. Let's start that process, and who knows? Do you ever get folks that actually use Botox for multiple, like, hey, I got headaches, but also trying to get the wrinkles? I mean, do you get, is it a two for one kind of deal for some folks?
Naturally, when we do the Botox for migraines, we are treating the frontal area. So you already are getting that treated just from the therapeutic side. But there is if you talk to an esthetician, there is a huge difference between placement of Botox for the wrinkles versus placement of Botox for the migraines.
Gotcha.
So the
location.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so the way Botox for migraines is placed, it's set certain locations that you have to do 155 units around the head.
Okay.
But for cosmetic, there's an actual technique of placing the Botox to where you don't affect, the eye or anything.
Does it
way.
Is it like for headaches and things like that? Is it more about pressure points and things, or does that not come into play?
No, it's for migraines.
Okay. I didn't know if, all right, we inject near the pressure points, that does a certain, I don't know. I'm confusing my Eastern and Western medicine, I think. This is why I'm a DJ and not a doctor. Don't take medical advice from a DJ. That's just saying.
Okay.
And
you
conversely,
could be the next Dr. Phil or something.
And conversely, don't take radio advice from a doctor. Just saying, go where the experts are. She can't help you get a commercial on the radio.
No,
but, I can't help you, with anything else.
No. Yes.
But again, reach out to Sarah's office, 575-627-4200, or come by 1112 North Main Street at the Loveless Health Care Center there, and inquire about any of this stuff. And of course, if that's not your problem, but there's something else,
primary care.
There's many other physicians and specialists that can help you there in the building too. So don't hesitate to just go. Is y'all's website? Is just loveless.com? I don't remember off the top of my head. It's Loveless. If you go to loveless.com, you can see all of the different services that Loveless covers here in Roswell. And so if you need a knee replacement or want to have a kid or something, they can help out with all those things.
And we have cardiology as well now, so
Good
we're very
deal.
excited about that.
Their heart is back.
Yes. We have the heart back.
Good. Again, one more time, 575-627-4200, or stop by 1112 North Main. And while you're there, bring Sarah a burrito from the hospital. It's just,
So I can finally agree with you.
Yeah, it's really good. It is. You're gonna want another one. I don't know what it is. Ask that chef. I don't know. I don't know if they just pay him so much that he never wants to. Because I feel like he could go to some Michelin restaurant or create his own Michelin restaurant and do something.
Yeah.
So.
Well, Brian was agreeing. There is a special touch on it.
Yes.
All right.
Well, did we get anything? Is there anything you wanted to mention that we?
Nope. I think we covered all of it.
Awesome. Well, I'm sure you got a bunch of patients waiting for your help right now, so we'll let you get to work.
Thank you.
Thank you for spending a few minutes with us here. Sorry we kept her late, guys. She's coming.
Yeah. Thank you so much,
Thank
Mike.
you, guys.
I appreciate it.
We'll see you next time. All right. It is 7:51.
I'm Jared Sorello. The New Mexico Grown Coalition, a network of public institutions, nonprofit and community-based organizations, and people working together to strengthen community food systems, are announcing the winners of this year's Golden Chili Awards. The coalition next month will honor 28 winners, to include 11 preschools, 12 school districts, 5 senior centers, and New Mexico farmers around the state during a virtual awards ceremony on September 14th. An Artesia teenager killed last week when the vehicle he was a passenger in collided with a semi-truck. New Mexico State Police responded to the two-vehicle crash on US 285 near West Atoka Road, just south of Artesia. The initial investigation indicated one vehicle was traveling south. For reasons still under investigation, the 19-year-old driver attempted to turn onto West Atoka Road, but turned directly in front of a 2015 Peterbilt semi-truck that was headed north on 285. The semi-truck struck the passenger side of the Dodge. A 15-year-old passenger in the vehicle was killed. No names are released. You're up to date from the Pecos Valley Newsroom. I'm Jared Sorello reporting.
The truth and nothing but. This is the Sean Hannity Morning Minute.
This is what you call a success? If this is a success, what other successes do you want to force on the American people? So you're going to call your border a success? Begging OPEC for oil, is that a success? Getting threatened by China, is that a success? Taiwan reunification, that a success? North Korea starting up their nuclear reactors, that a success? We left Americans behind. We left them behind enemy lines. There are no troops on the ground to help them. They have been abandoned by you, and you're calling that a success with unparalleled results? No, Joe, this is a disaster, an unmitigated disaster. If this is success, I don't know. How do you define failure?
Keeping you on the straight path. Later today, it's the Sean Hannity Show.
Listen, the last time the economy looked like this, the stock market tanked 50%. The U.S. dollar lost 46% of its value, and the price of oil quadrupled. Yet, while the U.S. economy collapsed and inflation ran through the roof, the price of gold shot up 1,300% and silver rocketed over 2,400%. So, if history repeats itself, we could see it happen again. Can you afford to miss what could be the biggest gold and silver boom of our generation? That's why I want you to call Goldco at 855-815-GOLD. Because when you do, you'll not only get the chance to protect your retirement savings with gold and silver. As a Sean Hannity listener, you could get $10,000 or more in free silver just for doing it. This is a rare opportunity, so don't miss out. Call 855-815-GOLD. That's 855-815-GOLD. Call Goldco today. 855-815-GOLD.
It's time for the Chavez County Sports Report. Good show last night, although not a victory, but it was an impressive outing for the Goddard Lady Rockets soccer team, as Goddard played one of the best teams lately, last few years in girls soccer, Carlsbad. That was on the road, and Carlsbad wins that by a 1-0 count over Goddard, which is now 3-4 on the season. They got a boys soccer score from last night. NMMI is 0-2 on the season. A couple of tough losses to begin things last night, losing against Clovis by a 3-2 count. Speaking of NMMI, the Broncos, the defending JC national champs, won their season opener last weekend over Papago, 44-13. A 30-point second quarter. Oh, that'll do it. The Sports Report brought to you by DSI. Call DSI for all your office technology needs. I'm Eric Butler at Roswell's Talk FM 106.5.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Rich Thomason. Shares of Bed Bath & Beyond are tumbling after the struggling home goods retailer announced a restructuring that includes store closures, layoffs, and a stock offering. The company says it has obtained more than $500 million of new financing and is cutting its workforce by 20%. It also plans to close about 150 namesake stores, but will keep its Bye Bye Baby chain. Wall Street opened higher this morning following a three-day sell-off spurred by remarks last week by Federal Reserve officials suggesting more interest rate increases are likely. India's economy grew 13.5% in the April through June quarter from a year ago. The expansion fueled by a boost in agriculture and manufacturing as pandemic curbs eased. Annual inflation in Eurozone countries hitting 9.1% this month. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Rich Thomason.
Sometimes we put off important health needs like surgeries because, well, we worry about the pain and time needed for recovery. Dr. Paul Torres, a board-certified general surgeon, has joined Loveless Healthcare Center and is helping patients in the Roswell area get back to the lives they love with less pain and a faster recovery through advances in minimally invasive surgery. To find out if laparoscopic surgery is the best solution for you, call Loveless and make an appointment today at 575-625-3222.
On air and online.